reported infections across 40 states, says the CDC. Demanding a transparent investigation, the family of the Mississippi teen whose body was found off of Barrier Island, Nolan Wells, was last seen July 4th celebrating the holiday with friends. Wells' mother.
I have concerns.
Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as Black people, but also the importance of how you have to move in certain spaces.
The family's attorney says Wells' friends took his phone when they left Horn Island. Mexican officials say they'll file criminal complaints over deaths of its citizens in ICE custody or as part of immigration enforcement. This after the fatal shooting of a Mexican national by federal agents in Houston claiming self-defense. Texas Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia in Houston.
I have concerns about the potential witnesses being removed from our area and perhaps even being deported.
The feds say that he was not the intended target. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
President Trump says the ceasefire with Iran is over. There are still what U.S. officials call technical talks. No progress reported. Major flash flooding and high water rescues in parts of the Midwest and East after violent storms. It's caused many flight cancellations and delays, says ABC's Morgan Norwood at Newark Airport.
With more turbulent weather, we could be looking at more flight disruptions today and into the night. So now is a good time, especially if you're flying today and throughout the weekend, to start to plan ahead.
Flash flood watches continue through the weekend. A scary mid-air incident on board a Ryanair flight in Europe. A portion of the plane's fuselage came apart, causing a window panel to dislodge. The passenger closest to the window was taken to the hospital. Nobody else hurt. It happened shortly after takeoff when the flight was heading to Germany from Greece. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
According to a doctor who treated him for serious injuries to his upper body once he was safely on the ground after the plane had safely landed in hospital, and he was in hospital, effectively the wife of the passenger, the male passenger, was sitting next to him, and she was just holding on to his feet for about 5 minutes to stop him being completely sucked out of the aircraft.
A Greek aviation official says they think there was a massive rupture in the engine. Debris flew out the side, hit the fuselage. Wall Street major indexes have risen and crude oil prices are lower today. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
I believe in you. Just 4 simple words, but to a child in need, they mean the world. I believe in you means you have potential. You are special. You matter. When you become a child sponsor with Save the Children, you're saying, I believe in you. You are smart. You're capable. You will overcome obstacles that most can't imagine. Your sponsorship says to a child, I believe that you deserve a successful start to life and a solid foundation to build upon. I believe you're worthy of good nutrition, quality healthcare, and the opportunity that education unlocks. Becoming a Save the Children sponsor sends a powerful message of support. It says, I am here for you, to lift you up, to cheer you on, and to celebrate your success. Because when you believe in a child, you empower them to believe in themselves. I believe in you. Just 4 simple words that can bring hope, that can change a life. Visit sponsor.savethechildren.org today and tell a child in need, I believe in you.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
From 3 to 6, you'll soon see why everybody's talking about Tom Azelby. Turn it up and ride along. Great conversation all afternoon long, you know. 1210's the best in the nation. Matt and Justin hold it down at the station. From 3 to 6, you'll agree. Everyone loves WPHT, so tune in and stay a while. We'll keep you company mile by mile. 3 to 6, loud and free. Time to listen to Azelby.
Welcome to 1210 WPHT here in Philadelphia. This is Tom Azelby, your host from 3 to 6 today, and we got a lot to cover. If you want to listen, you can listen on the Odyssey, iHeart, the apps. You can stream on YouTube. And don't forget, you can hear me every Saturday, 8 to 9 on the Tom Azelby Show, wrapping up the news of the week. And that's what we do on Saturday. 6 o'clock, we got Rich Zioli coming up with the podcast. And last but not least, my producers and contributors, Matt DeSantis and Justin Otero.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, guys. Hello, man. It's Friday. It's Friday.
We've made it.
Couldn't come soon enough.
Let me tell you, I'm getting the Friday energy back. I nearly fell asleep out in the lobby waiting to come on. I'm like, oh, my God, I got another 3-hour show, and then I got to get here tomorrow. But you know what I'm feeling? The energy just hits you. Once you see that red light, if that red light didn't go on, I'd probably fall off the chair.
I keep forgetting you've got tomorrow. I keep thinking, well, Justin and I aren't going to be working tomorrow, obviously. We're far too lazy for a 6-day work week. But I forgot you were in.
Yeah, I've had a lot. Fridays of last week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, now Saturday. So it's a lot for me. But I like it, and you got to get the job done. That's what we're here for.
So this isn't really a Friday for Tom Azelby. This is more like Thursday. You're getting close to the end of your week, but you're not quite there.
Saturday is like, it's 1 hour. It's
not too bad.
It's not too bad. That hour goes so quick, it's crazy. But anyway, I enjoyed the Saturday morning. I get to wrap up all the news of the week. So don't forget the 39th annual Bend to the Shore. That's the bike ride. I think it's 30 and 60 miles. You know, Kale and Company, they're all on board. They'll be riding. That's bendtotheshore.org if you want to donate. And let me tell you who I got coming up today. Who are my guests? So my guest today at 3:15, I'm hoping Hillary Herzig. She should be calling in. She's the Republican candidate for New Jersey's congressional district, number 6. That's a lot of Middlesex County and some of the towns along the Monmouth beaches like Asbury Park, I think, in Long Branch. And she's running against Frank Pallone. He's the Democrat. He's been sitting there in D.C. since 1988. Wow. 1988, he's held that seat. And he's a staunch Democrat, and she's got her work cut out for her because that's an uphill battle for Hillary. But it'll be fun to see what her strategy is. So I'm going to have her on shortly. And from there, we're going to go to 4 o'clock. One of my favorite guests is Cynical Publius from X. And if you're on X and you don't follow him now. The guy he's a free thinker. He's a despiser of totalitarianism. And believe me, he knows how to, he's a master of the English language. He's a former United States combat colonel. And what I find interesting is he went to law school, to a prestigious law school after retiring from the service. Like, I guess he went like in his 40s and started a whole new career doing mergers and acquisitions for Silicon Valley startups. So he's got a great background. And let me tell you, this guy's getting very popular in the political ecosystem. based on his writing for different magazines, his posting. He's got a huge following on X, and he's one of my favorite guests because he's very insightful, and we'll have a few different topics to go with him. Then my next guest at 5 p.m. is Mario Perez. He's a retired Navy Master Chief. He was part of SEAL Team 6 operator. He's a former what they call rocket surgeon. That means he was an ordnance specialist. He's a bomb guy. Explosives, rockets, weapons, systems. He could disarm them. But when you're an operator with SEAL Team 6, you're not just doing that. You got to be able to, swim in the water, look for mines, jump out of planes. He's done it all as an operator with SEAL Team 6. And today, what I find interesting, today he's the Chief Revenue Officer at Sub-UAS. And that's a multi-domain drone. That's what they make. So this is a drone. I don't know a ton about it, but it either comes, that's what we're going to learn about today. It's a drone that works in the air and the sea. So I think that's a pretty cool discussion with that we're going to have with Mario Perez when he comes on at 5 o'clock. And we'll ask him some, we'll try to get a little bit of the mission stories in there, what he's done. And I know some of them because I like to hang out with Mario down in South Florida. We like to have a cigar and a drink, a bourbon every once in a while. So he's a good, I consider him a good friend, and I enjoy talking to him about a lot of political stuff. He's very engaged in what's going on in the world, so he makes for a great guest besides being a friend. Okay, I'm going to take you around the world really quick. What's going on around the world? I'll give you 5 things. Obviously, the U.S.-Iran conflict. Fighting has paused, I think, a little bit, but tensions remain high. Who knows? It's changing every minute. They're probably trying to restart these talks. I do know that the tanker traffic has been reduced, but oil was down today. So maybe they think they're going to work their way through this. But that's been a really good thing with the oil coming down, and it could go up a little bit. But this is what we're dealing with right now. There was a deadly wire fire in southern Spain. This is why I saw this on the news. There were tourists, and it was kind of like a tourist town in the south of Spain, down near the Mediterranean. I feel so bad. Some people, British tourists, just got trapped. One in a car, one went into a riverbed to try to avoid this this fast-moving wildfire. So they've lost at least 11 or 12 people so far. That's a horrifying story. They're away on vacation and something like that happens. Then we had the burial of the supreme leader. They keep talking about these massive crowds coming out for his funeral. Don't forget, Iran is a very big country. It is 93 million. So, and they estimate about 8 million are paid by the state, work for the state, and do what the state tells them because they're on the payroll. And never mind, they have a bunch of religious kooks there. So they're able to get them on buses, I understand, and they give them a nice box lunch. And whatever the worthless currency of Iran is right now, they probably hand them a few bucks because things are pretty tough over there. China announced today that they have a reusable rocket success. SpaceX were the guys. That's why Elon Musk, let me tell you, this guy does it all. And people who crack on him, this guy is whatever you think of him, like his personal life with all the babies or hanging out with Trump, this guy is amazing. Amazing. So when you try to insult that guy, he laughs at you because he could buy and sell your family for 50 generations going backwards and forwards. And I'm not saying that about money. I'm saying that money has come to him because he is a genius. He's a genius, and his genius is helping this country in many, many ways. Okay. UK politics shift. Andy Burnham is next to be the prime minister after Starmer. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but Matt will correct me if I'm not. After gaining strong support from the labor lawmakers. And Andy is a moderate socialist, and let me tell you, he can't stand Trump. He really doesn't like Trump, and I love it because you know what? I'm getting to the point I can't stand Great Britain's government. And, in life, sometimes you shed friends. Great Britain would be a good friend to shed, along with Canada, Spain. Trump's already getting rid of them. But the Great Britain government, we've lost a cultural connection with them. We clash on free speech, guns, crime, immigration. We clash on everything. And then they mock and ridicule us. I mean, they used to do it all. The Americans are crazy, crazy Americans, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? That was okay. But now, even with the Canadians, there is a malice and a little bit of viciousness from these countries we've done a lot for, and we're still doing a lot for. So I don't know. It's Friday, and I'm getting agitated about Great Britain and Canada. So because of that, I'm going to try to calm down because I have a very good guest coming up. So we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with our guest. What's that?
You can go right to her if you want. She's there. We got time.
Oh, we got time.
It's up to you. If you want to break, we can. It's totally in Tom Azelby's.
All right.
It's your decision exclusively.
Okay. What I want to do is I want to take the break because I want to figure out where it is on my notes right here. So let's take a break and we'll be right back. Thank you, men.
The intense July heat is here, and Philadelphia humidity is peaking. Don't wait for your energy bills to skyrocket before realizing your windows are failing. Call the pros at Window Nation now. Right now, you can get 50% off all window styles plus 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Get the energy-efficient windows from Window Nation installed in 1 day or less without the hassle. Beat the heat, protect your home, and start saving today. Schedule your fast, free consultation now at windownation.com.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Hey, it's Jen Hatmaker. Here's what I've learned in midlife. Joy isn't the reward you earn after all the work is done. Joy is the work. That's what this new series on For the Love is all about. The sacred yes. It's choosing delight, rest, and pleasure on purpose. Because saying yes to yourself, that's the thing that finally lets you fill your table with everybody else. Come find your sacred yes with me. Follow and listen to For the Love wherever you get your podcasts.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby, your afternoon host. Well, we got Hillary Herzig coming up, and Hillary has got she's climbing a mountain here. She's trying to win. She's the Republican candidate for New Jersey's Congressional District 6. That's Middlesex County. I think it's some of the Monmouth beaches. You got Asbury Park, I think Long Branch. But that is, I believe, the geographic there. And a little bit of background, she was a law enforcement on the civilian side. I thought this was interesting. She was the executive assistant to the chief of police in Key West, Florida. I think that would be a cool job. If you've ever been to Key West, It's a great spot. A lot of kooky people show up there. It's a lot of fun. It's a big drinking fun town. So I'm sure she was busy doing that. She's worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs, Homeland Security. She's got an intel background. So Hillary's got and she's a Jersey girl that had moved down to Florida, and I believe she's back in Jersey. And Hillary, welcome to the afternoon show here on 1210 WPHT in Philly.
Thanks so much for having me, Mr. Azelby.
It's great to have you, and you can call me Tom. And I see you're an FAU graduate. I've walked through that campus a couple of times. It's a pretty neat place.
Hooty hoo, I am. Beautiful campus. The year I graduated, they actually, really built up our football stadium, the gals are really proud of it.
Yeah, no, and you got that. And I'll explain it to the guys here, the producers. They have, it looks like they call it the 95 or whatever, like right down the middle of the campus. They've got all these like shops and stores in the center of campus. And all the school buildings or whatever are right to the right. I thought that was kind of a very neat setup they had there. But enough about talking about FAU. Let's talk about the challenge that you have against Frank Pallone. He's been a Democrat. He's been 38 years in government. And he's the ranking member of House Energy and the Commerce Committee. And that's Energy, Healthcare, Telecom, and Consumer Protection. So you're trying to unseat a very, very powerful player in Washington, D.C. He's been there 38 years. How are you taking on this fight?
Yeah, so, unlike my opponent, Frank Pallone, he really, he sounds like he has a very important job, but he really does absolutely nothing. His reputation is that he just curries favors to people to have him elections. And then, every now and then he hires his relative to have a job in the government. And then when he wants to take a break and he gets bored, he'll hop on Twitter or X and then, do some more whining. And that's not the type of representative people in New Jersey want anymore.
No, I could see, you become a big part of that government machine, and that's for the right and for the left. And you could see a lot of lazy behavior down there, and it's more about just keeping the machine running than actually trying to make a difference. And between me and you, I haven't seen Democrats really working to make any big difference in the country, except just complaining about that they're not in power anymore. So here's one thing I noticed, and I want you to confirm this for me. Joe Biden won by 18 points in your district. Pallone has won, and am I pronouncing his name correct? Pallone?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Pallone has won by 20 points pretty consistently. Biden won by 18 points. But I read today, and I hope this is true because I think this is an encouraging sign, Hillary. Kamala only won by 6 points. Is that true?
Yeah, so it was definitely a smaller margin when she was running as a presidential nominee in this district. But this district does tend to lean, very Democrat. The movement that I'm trying to build, though, is around people rather than political parties.
Right.
Because what I'm here, is that they're kind of a little bit entwined, and even some Republicans have supported Pallone's campaign.
Yeah.
So that's very disappointing to Republicans, and it should be very, disenfranchising to some Democrat voters. And, I intend to follow just a different mold, a different model completely. And if and when I'm elected, I, intend to use the platform to have open communications with the people and restore actual representation for the people, because I not only intend to work both sides of the aisle across and make a difference, make a change, and, speak out to what I believe is offensive, using my own moral compass, but I intend to actually be the voice of the voters in our district. And we haven't had a voice in 38 years because he's no longer, serving the people in his district. He's serving, his corporate PACs. He's serving, corporate interests. And the people here do not feel represented. Personally, I'm never going to ask anyone to follow me. I will ask that, people stand with the truth. even if it's inconvenient, even if it means sometimes criticizing your own party. I think that is, part of citizenship. And I think that is what patriotism demands, especially in this moment in this district. And that's, the kind of representative that I intend to be.
Well, I do agree with you. Frank Pallone's been down there for 38 years, and there's a really good shot. He represents the D.C. insiders and the donors. I kind of think for New Jersey, that for me, and I'm a lifelong New Jersey person, I've seen it. It's consistently moving to the left, and the district you're in, I think it's probably consistently moved even bluer than most people thought it would be. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, a lot of people are asking here, whether you're a loyal Republican or Democrat. I'm saying let's ask a different question this election cycle. Let's ask, are we loyal to America? Are we loyal to the Constitution? And are our representatives actually serving the people? Because I don't believe in this district they are.
Well, I don't think I think you could take that across the board in a lot of the blue states today. In the red states, and I live most of the year in Florida now. That is a free state. You get a whole different vibe down there. You get a whole different vibe in Tennessee and South Carolina. And that's why I say what you're attempting in this state of New Jersey, which has gone so far left, and believe me, the left has a lot of money, as you probably know. Frank Pallone probably has a few $1 million to fight off any person that challenges him. And money is critical, especially in all of politics today, and all the money comes in from the outside pack. So how do you navigate that minefield? Because it is important. Yeah, the money is part of the plan. So what do you have up your sleeve for that?
Well, I mean, personally, I do not like that there is money in politics because it is, people are buying the interest out of the American people, and I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Now, if you're running a campaign, you understand that there's costs to, get your name out there, to send letters to people, to call people on the phone, to send them texts, to reach out and say, hey, this is my name, and I'm running against this guy who's, been in office for 38 years. He's pushing 80 years old, asking for another term. He's adding to the gerontology issue, and this isn't real representation. I'm asking you to stand with me. I know you don't know me. You don't know who, my name. But it's crazy to come around this district and you ask a lot of the voters in this district, who is your congressional representative? Over 50% do not answer Frank Pallone. Yeah. They don't even know who this guy has flown under the radar for that long, doing nothing in Congress, doing nothing. It sounds like he has a very important position, but he is not putting out legislation. A lot of his issues that he brings up are just to whine and bicker. And I think that a lot of people are just tired of constant partisan bickering. They are like, it seems like childish fighting. People are sick of it. We're living in this retribution environment where, politicians are operating in a way that, they have fear of violence from one side or the other, and then we have a political system that's encouraging punishment instead of problem solving. And I think that what needs to be going on is a lot more solving problems and a lot less complaining.
Well, I think everyone would agree with that, but it's kind of when you get into a street fight in New Jersey, it's kind of like you gotta fight the same way they're fighting to a certain degree, and that brings me back to Frank Pallone. He is an anti-Trump guy. He's been on, like you're saying, the tit for tat, the name calling and all that, and that's what Democrats are doing all day. And I want to say this before I read something that you had posted. I believe, like Spencer Pratt did out in California, he didn't win, but he made a major impact with those videos. He thought outside the box. He at least shook up the system to take a look at him, and whatever that did for his own political brand in the future, I think is a positive. And when I say that, you got to think outside the box. If someone had to disassociate themselves from Donald Trump to win in New Jersey as a Republican, if that worked, I'd be for it because we need the votes. It all comes down. It's very basic math in Washington, D.C. You need the votes, and the votes are way too close now. But you did have you had a quote on Facebook that says Donald J. Trump is as corrupt as Frank Pallone, but then it was kind of presented as a question mark. So I wanted you to give me a little background on that quote and what was your intention.
Sure. I just want to point out that Americans deserve to know that their elected officials on either side of the aisle and their families are not profiting from government decisions or military conflicts. We need to stop insider trading. We need term limits. And we need to stop electing 80-year-olds and pretending it's representation or progress because it's neither. And people that still think it is, I'm sorry, we don't live in the same world. Just like this political elite class does not live in the same world of the average family with 3 children living in Asbury Park and the dad's a delivery driver for DoorDash and he's paying $2,800 a month in rent and he can't afford it and he's not putting any money back into the economy. The Democrats say so much about affordability, but we're one of the most unaffordable states, and Donald Trump thinks affordability is a hoax. So has to be.
I just want to comment on that. I don't. He doesn't think it's a hoax. What he thinks is that the Democrats ran up with all their regulations and all the COVID rules. They ran, and this is where the hoax comes in. This is what he means. They didn't talk about inflation and all the things they did to create it. But then once he took office, all the Democrats and the media wanted to talk about was this new word, affordability, so they could beat him over the head with it. So his terminology, and I know sometimes it can throw people off, he knew costs were way up for people, and he's worked his behind off to get them down. And the trend is going in the right direction. And whenever government gets things going in the right direction, we should celebrate that. But I think the terminology on hoax was how all of a sudden affordability became the thing now to bash Donald Trump over the head with.
Well, I mean, here, look, at the end of the day, Democrats right now are using the excuse that they're out of power. They don't have the congressional majority to pass things to change affordability. But that's happening on the Republican side with the SAVE Act as well. So these are things that both parties are saying, look, we put our hands up. We can't do anything.
Yeah, and no, I agree with you on that. The guys in the Senate, as Donald Trump gets closer to a lame duck presidency, no one wants the SAVE Act more than Donald Trump. But you are absolutely correct. The elites in the Senate, there's elites in the House, and they are trying to slow that down, and they are on our side. And I'm with you with the corporate and country club Republicans. They've done a lot of damage to the party, and they will rear their ugly heads again. But Donald J. Trump is not one of them.
Yeah, so, the economy here, it's very clear. It's squeezing everyone. Even in our district, in District 6, we have a lot of homeless, Americans living on the street. And it is, a political elite class that's talking about affordability. Meanwhile, Frank Pallone's 80. He's got a whole bunch of, real estate investments. He lives on a mansion in the beach, and he's tweeting about affordability. That's not the reality that he's living. That is not actually affecting his life. It's affecting the regular families that live in District 6 because I see it and I talk to them. So this is something that needs to be solved. It's not being solved by either party, and it's why you're seeing extremists like Democrat socialists come into the situation now, because people are so desperate that they say, maybe socialism will work for us. Maybe communism will work for us, because Republicans and Democrats alike are not fixing the problem.
Well, we got to go to break, Hillary, and you're spot on that. But we also got to remember what Republicans are doing the right things, and who are the team that's trying to fight that elitism that infects both parties. But one thing's for sure, if you beat Frank Pallone, that will be a benefit to every Republican, no matter what they think about Trump or where they're going. Hillary, thank you very much. You made your points, and I appreciate it. It was very good. It was a good conversation. I'd love to have you back.
Thanks so much, Tom. You have a great day.
You too, Hillary. We're going to break. We'll be back.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
AI firms are much more aggressive in the pace of their software updates. Elon Musk says that SpaceX's AI model, Grok 4.5, has begun private beta testing at SpaceX and Tesla, with Musk saying Grok 4.5 is being built on a foundation model that's 3 times the size of the previous model. Musk says that SpaceX plans to release new AI models every month for the rest of the year. I'm Jason Brooks.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This July, celebrate America's 250th birthday with a home improvement project from Kitchen Magic you'll enjoy for years to come. Now through July 11th, save $2,500 on your new kitchen or bath project. For more than 45 years, families throughout the region have trusted Kitchen Magic for beautiful kitchen and bath transformations, backed by exceptional craftsmanship and service. Plus, flexible financing options are available. Visit kitchenmagic.com today and save $2,500 during our America 250 celebration. Offer ends July 11th.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
See website for details. MyFastCash.com is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
The mechanic called. The repair's going to be $750.
Oh, we got rent and the car payment, on top of groceries, gas, and other bills. We don't have an extra $750 right now.
We could try MyFastCash.com. When short on expenses, you can go to MyFastCash.com and could get money as soon as the next day.
MyFastCash.com?
Yes, they can connect you to one of the largest lender networks, and you can get a loan even with bad credit. We could be approved for up to $5,000 fast.
$5,000? That must be a long process.
Nope, approval can happen in just a few minutes right from your phone, and funds could hit our account by tomorrow.
If you have a regular source of income and a bank account, you could be approved for up to $5,000, even with bad credit history. And the cash can hit your bank account the next day.
Honey, I'm going to myfastcash.com right now.
Thank goodness.
If you need extra cash, go to myfastcash.com. That's myfastcash.com. myfastcash.com.
Loan availability, approval, and funding times vary. Terms apply.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to the afternoon show here on Philadelphia 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby, your afternoon host till 6 p.m. All right. You fire your musket, I'll run you through. And I'm about to talk about the July 4th celebration. So that's a great tie-in music. Oh, did we get Cynical Publius's entry music? Did you guys get that clip?
Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, yes, we do have that. Yeah,
okay,
I remember
cool,
you said that.
cool,
I was
cool.
nervous for a second. I forgot all about it.
No, we're good. We're good. But talking about the July 4th celebration here in Philadelphia, they had Roots, Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith, Barry Sable's old buddy. They were old friends. Christine Aguilera, Seal, Meek Mills, Wanda Sykes was the host. I didn't even know this was all going on in Philadelphia. That's a pretty big show, and there's some complaining going on that I read online. And I have a clip about it. I'm not going to play the whole clip, and I just want to say this before we play the clip. So Philadelphia really went out full, like this one, $15.5 million. The one they did last year only cost $3 million. That's just for all the entertainment, the management fees. It's not the police and the cleanup and everything. This is a really big show. I got young kids, college age kids, high school kids, and I didn't hear anyone talking about like, oh, I want to go over to the city for this concert. So it seems like a lot of money. The only guys I know that were there were you two, with that were down there for the July 4th thing for that concert.
I never miss a party, Tom.
I know you do. Yeah, I was trying to wake you guys up back there. All of a sudden, I saw the headphones move. Like, what's he talking about? We weren't there. Well, that's my point. My point is, even if you guys didn't go, and Justin, you're a big music guy, right?
Yep.
And I know you love Will Smith.
My absolute favorite artist of all time. Nothing more than I love put on a Will Smith CD.
Yeah. Well, what about Christine Aguilera? I know you like her too, when she was 100 pounds lighter. I'm only kidding. I shouldn't really say that.
I think she's skinny again.
I know
actually.
she is skinny again. That's not nice. That's not nice. But you know what? You can take a dig at people that when you become that famous or whatever, you gotta have thick skin. I'm not like attacking her personally. Hey, everyone puts on a little weight. You get fat and happy. People used to think you were wealthy when you were carrying a few extra pounds. You just looked at me, Matt, like that's not true.
No, I believe you. I'm sure it is true. We're in a weird part of human history where there's more people dying from overeating in America than obviously starvation.
Okay, I learned that. And, well, here I'm going to go off on a story. Okay, so when I was in the apparel manufacturing business back in my 20s, right? And me and my partner never went to the factories down here in Philadelphia and Chinatown. And, these were people that worked for us all the time. We had good relationships. People called them sweatshops. I thought they were great people. They were all inspected or whatever, but that's besides the point. So when we walk in to see them, my business partner doesn't go into the factories that often. But he'd gotten a little bit heavy. He was a former athlete. He'd just gotten a little bit chubby. And when we come walking in, he hasn't seen them in like a year and a half. The Asian women that work there who run the shop, they come up to him and they go, "Oh, Chris, you're so fat." And they start laughing. Just right in his face like that. But when I would talk to them later, because I'd eat lunch with them some days when I was down there, I'm like, "Why'd you say to Chris he was so fat? Like you insulted." I thought it was hysterical though. And they're like, "Oh no, that compliment. He eat well." Man, I could get in trouble doing these accents. I better knock it off. It's nasal. I talk through my nose. But anyway, let's get back to. There's more to the story.
I forgot what we were even talking about.
So did I. There's more to the story because he says to me when we're driving back, do you know people sometimes talk in other people's language with the accent when they're talking to them? Politicians do it, but I think that's kind of manufactured to do it. But normally, sometimes people, when having conversations with people with different accents, the person will talk in their accent a little, and they actually say it's not a negative thing. Like in the uptight world, people would be like, that's wrong, you shouldn't do it. But my partner would do that to them. He'd give an Asian accent, and this guy's born in America. He's as America as George Washington. So when we're driving back one day from being in one of the factories with our Asian manufacturers, I say to him, I go, stop talking to them with that Asian accent. It's ridiculous. And he looks at me, and this is true. He goes, well, you stop talking to them like they're deaf because of their accent, my decibel would go up. Like I was yelling at people. So it was a nice hit back. Okay, let's get back to the July 4th. I think I've covered enough of this for now.
Well, the accent adoption is an interesting topic. Because Kamala Harris was famous for that in 2024. She did, I think, a Spanish accent at one point. She adopted the pastor accent when she spoke in a church. There was a handful of them.
But the question is for that, is that political that they're consciously doing it? Because some people do it in day-to-day life. They kind of talk
mirroring.
back. They start mirroring. Great word. So maybe we should give them a break if this happens organically. I don't know if politicians do anything organically, but individuals tend to do it, and people do. When you're talking to someone who doesn't speak English as their first language, you do tend to yell at them. Well, maybe you two don't, because you're perfect. You guys are perfect. Okay. All right. Whatever. Okay. So
I don't yell at anyone. I'm a very friendly guy.
No, you are. You both have very nice temperaments. I wish I could say the same thing about myself. So let's get back to this July 4th celebration. We had $15.5 million spent, 5 times as much as the year before. So this is the mayor, Mayor Parker. And so some people are upset with this excessive spending. So let's hear what the clip that was pulled off of the internet.
I swear that Cheryl Parker is the worst when it comes to managing money, bro. If she had taken that $15.5 million that she spent on a concert that was to feed her ego, she could have saved over 400 households from evictions through the eviction diversion program, paying off all their arrears and all their rent. She could have saved about 220 substitute teachers' jobs instead of having them getting fired at the end of this next school year because of the budget cuts going on with the school district. She could have fed senior citizens through senior citizen meal programs. They had meals delivered.
All right. I like the musical vibe in the back as he's taking down the mayor for overspending. He was saying it was an ego ride for her to show off to the city that the city pay it. It is. I was shocked at the difference. $15.5 million to last year's $3 million. Well, it is the 250th, right? So maybe she should have spent $5 million. One thing I don't agree with them is, where the money should have went. We could throw more money at, substitute teachers, people who don't pay their, I guess you could reallocate it to the city budget and everything. To me, I would say just put it in a bank account for a rainy day, because Philadelphia, they have a huge budget deficit, and there's a savings account that they have that is like an emergency fund, and it's shrinking every year. And it's down to $45 million, or it's going to be in 2029, which I think for a city of this size, having an emergency fund of $45 million, and this is, a few years away, but the thing keeps going down, is very dangerous. Meaning, what you're going to start begging from the federal government.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen to a lot of these blue cities. It's going to be like, okay, we're broke now. Now we can't. The trains can't run. People can't get to work. We can't plow the streets. Now get the whole country to pay for the problems we created with all these insane policies we put in. That's really where it's going to head. And if I was the federal government, which I'm not, it would be like, that's your state's problem. Because if the state of Pennsylvania has to bail out Philadelphia, you're going to become a red state. Because people are going to be like, I'm done with this. Our taxes all just went up again because I have to bail out Philadelphia. But I hope, and that's where the federal government needs to back off and let these states live and die on their own and make them deal with their own problems. That would be my suggestion. My other suggestion is don't have a 15.5 million concert. Have a 3 million or a 4 million. I don't even think people, that stuff isn't as big and grand and worth what it used to be, because that's why you don't get the corporate donors. There's so many different things for people to do today. In the old days, some big corporate sponsors would step up and pay that bill. Corporate sponsors now are like, that's a waste. People are doing a million things on July 4th. Everyone flies in planes everywhere. That day of bringing everybody together where a community comes, where an advertiser will see real value, those days are long gone. You guys got any comments on that?
I've got two. So the first is $45 million in emergency reserves is insane. That's nothing. I would barely even cover 3 Cheryl Parker concerts. So
there you go. That's a perfect example.
Another item that I thought was interesting was that 8 days before the event, there was an unexplained $5.5 million contract amendment with no itemized explanation as to where that additional money was going towards this concert.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially since, again, as you pointed out, last year's concert, $3 million, and then the 2024 festival budget. So this included the concert, the preliminary events, the staff, everything, cleanup. That was only $6.6 million.
Yeah. My question is, if you put on a cheap show, would anyone who was coming down to the city, you'd be better off giving away cotton candy or free drinks or something? Like, do people really care that much about all this type of giant concerts like this, and Christine Aguilera and Will Smith and I don't know if it has the impact at all.
Yeah, and no offense to Christina Aguilera, we've already insulted her once.
Yes.
She's not.
I didn't say. I didn't say anything.
It was Justin. I think.
It was Justin said.
Whoa.
She's not exactly like an A-lister.
No.
And I think your point is well taken. This isn't like the 1980s where if you don't see them in concert, you don't see them at all. You can just pull up a video on YouTube or scroll around on TikTok and watch your favorite artist sing, quote unquote live, which is close enough to reality.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people.
No, I agree. I think, like anything, government is not going to adapt to the market trends and the change like private business does. They're just not, and they'll waste more money on dumb ideas because they're not redirecting. The culture is completely changing, and the culture is even changing on how they're entertained. And government will be the last one to know that. And Democrats, and I'll say this, compared to Republicans, I think they don't have a lot of entrepreneurial skills or business people skills. So that's another comment on that. Here's another thing I wanted to cover is this. You remember the Milwaukee judge back in April 2025? Her name was Hannah Dugan. She was the judge out in Milwaukee, and she's the one that hid the illegal alien who was in the courthouse. If you guys don't remember, I'm going to remind you. So there was an illegal alien. His name was Ruiz, and he was arrested on a domestic case, a battery charge, either probably hitting his wife or his girlfriend. And he's in court. And ICE knows he's an illegal and shows up at the Milwaukee courthouse. And what happens is the judge orders ICE out of the building, and she sneaks him out of a restricted back door to protect him. Now what happens is ICE now has to go out into the street and chase this guy down because him and his lawyer are hightailing it out of the courthouse. And, if you can this is the problem with these sanctuary cities. It's so much smoother and so less dangerous for everybody, for law enforcement, for people driving their cars or walking in the neighborhood. Everyone knows if the courts just handed them over, but now you got these ICE guys running all over the street trying to catch this guy, and that creates a really chaotic situation. So what's the outcome? This judge, for doing that, it made national news back in April of 2025. So her penalty was a $5,000 fine, and that was it. What she did, and it was a smart move, once she got caught doing this and knew that there was going to be some legal heat brought down on her. And let me tell you, she is a judge, sits on the bench doing like felony crimes. So if anyone should know better, it would have been this judge. But anyway, Judge Hannah Dugan, this is all that happened. It's now 2026. She's paying a $5,000 fine. There's nothing is going to be held against her state pension. That was it. There's no prison time. It's not like, hey, listen, this was what you did is totally illegal. We're going to put you away for 30 days. They didn't do any of that. All she got was a $5,000 fine. But this is what she was smart. Once she knew the heat was coming down on her, if she didn't resign and stayed on as a judge and had been brought into court and gotten a felony conviction, she might have lost her pension. So she made a good economic decision, but that shows you what you can get away with, even a judge in the United States, obviously a judge in the United States. We'll be back after this break.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
There's nothing simple about choosing an engagement ring. Most people don't know where to start. That's why they turn to Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton. JR will walk you through every step: diamonds, settings, styles, and how to choose what actually fits their budget and their partner. There's no pressure and no confusion, just straightforward guidance and a wide selection to compare with confidence. The goal is simple: leave knowing you made the right decision. Family and Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey, South Jersey's diamond destination.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Explore new places with an auto loan from American Heritage Credit Union. We're proud to offer auto loans on both new and used vehicles with low monthly payments and flexible terms up to 84 months, as well as auto lease buyout options. Celebrate 250 years of beauty across America. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/auto to get started. Insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender. Not a member? Join today.
Streams are where our kids play. And dogs splash. Many provide the water we drink. But are those streams clean and safe? For most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League of America can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. To learn more and get involved, visit IWLA.org. That's IWLA.org.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. It's over for the moment, the several days-long preliminary hearing for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist. Prosecutors aim to show they have enough evidence against Tyler Robinson to go to trial. ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer.
There's a lot of evidence being presented that you don't necessarily need to prove their case at this threshold. Namely, I would talk about the video with Twig, Tyler Robbins, his romantic partner. We don't typically see those, but the prosecution is putting out a very strong case, I think not just for the judge, but also for the public to show what kind of evidence they have against Tyler Robbins.
The hearing will resume September 1st for final arguments. The break is for attorneys to write legal briefs. Demanding a transparent investigation, the family of the Mississippi teen whose body was found off of Barrier Island. Nolan Wells was last seen on July 4th celebrating the holiday with friends. Wells' mother.
We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
The family's attorney says Wells' friends took his phone when they left Horn Island. Mexican officials say they will file criminal complaints over deaths of its citizens in ICE custody or as part of immigration enforcement. This after the fatal shooting of a Mexican national by federal agents in Houston claiming self-defense. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The Washington Post now reporting migrants who were in the car with Salgado Araujo, through statements given to their lawyer, dispute key parts of ICE's narrative. One writing, it is impossible for them to say that they were going to get run over. There were no officers in front of or behind the vehicle. They were on the sides.
The Department of Homeland Security admits that he was not the intended target. A royal source tells ABC News that for the first time in 4 years, Britain's King Charles and Camilla saw their grandkids as they also met today with Meghan and Harry. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
At least 31 states are reporting cases of a single-cell parasite stomach bug that causes frequent and long-lasting diarrhea. This does not necessarily mean all the stomach bug cases are related to the same source. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel.
Part of the issue is the lag time. When you get infected, it can be up to 2 weeks before you see symptoms, so it's hard for people to then backtrack and figure out where the source was.
No product or brand has been identified yet as a suspected source of the stomach bug, but sometimes it's fresh produce. The U.S. is on pace to break its own measles record for the second year in a row. There have been over 2,200 reported infections across 40 states, says the CDC. A wildfire in southern Spain overnight killed at least 12 people, 8 people injured, 23 others missing. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
Europe is really warming year on year, faster than any other continent. Wildfire conditions are perfect, sadly. It's very, very dry out there. There are high winds at times. We've had multiple wildfires across France. Now wildfires in Spain, turning deadly. And we're pretty early in the season. And compared to previous seasons, much larger areas have already been burned.
A scary mid-air incident on board a Ryanair flight in Europe. A portion of the plane's fuselage came apart, debris bursting through the side of the engine, hitting the fuselage, causing a window panel to dislodge. Passenger closest to the window was taken to the hospital. Nobody else hurt. Happened shortly after takeoff. Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
If you're talking, they will hear you every single time.
Oh, we're getting killed.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you?
Colin, some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. Zero tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so...
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's gonna be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he gonna know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. I'm playing this song for our next guest, Cynical Publius from X. If you're on X, this is the follow right there. That's the guy you want to follow. Retired United States Army colonel, is in Iraq, Afghanistan. Retires from the Army, goes to a prestigious law school, gets into the M&A business as an attorney for the tech industry. Very interesting career, and what he posts on X and what he writes for multiple publications, he's got some great insights. So he is the free thinker, the spiser of totalitarianism. Cynical Publius, welcome to the Tom Azelby Show this afternoon in Philadelphia.
Hey, Tom, good to talk to you. You got me laughing with that song. You must have looked at my ex today. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
And for those who are wondering why it's important, I'm half of an interracial marriage, and I've been going back and forth on racism on X a lot lately. So thanks for playing that song. I love it.
Oh yeah, and Mrs. Dr. Publius also has an account on X now too. We might as well give her a plug.
Yeah, her account's Mrs. Dr. Publius. It's MRSDRPUBLIUS. And she's a little different than me. I mean, we're both Christians, but she is sort of an evangelist.
Right.
And she spends a lot of time talking about the Bible and giving guidance to people. She's my better half in every way imaginable.
Well, everyone needs a better half. I get it. But let me tell you, you've had quite an interesting life. And I want the audience to know you're born and raised in New Jersey. You do ROTC, and if you can correct me if I got any of the bio wrong, and you've been on my show, and you always deliver great information, but you went to war, Iran, Afghanistan, you retire a colonel. Later in life, you go to law school, and you come out Silicon Valley mergers and acquisition work, which is fascinating work. And then obviously you marry Mrs. Dr. Publius, and is she former military too?
Yeah, she was.
Right.
We met when we were both junior lieutenants.
Yeah.
And and so she didn't stand as long as I did, but she was an Army dentist, an airborne Army dentist. And a couple of things though. We're not at war with Iran quite yet.
Right.
But I was in Iraq. and I was born in Freehold, Bruce's hometown. So the rest is all crap. It's been an interesting ride.
Yeah, and now you reside in a beautiful part of the country, and I've been noticing your landscape photography, which is pretty cool. You know, you've had a very interesting life, and I wanted to share that because you've been a regular guest of mine, and I always like the audience to kind of know, for people that come back on, like they get to know you, and I think that's real important. And I think the more you move into your writing and the political world, there's a lot of people that are going to find out more about you. So speaking of what you've been working on, I want to just frame this for the audience a little bit. Everyone remembers, especially this audience, it's a conservative audience, or most of it is, former military members in Congress, including a former CIA officer, Mark Kelly, the Navy captain astronaut, They all unnecessarily warned active military troops not to follow unlawful military orders from President Trump. That's one issue that I think ties into the article that you just wrote. The next thing was this recent active duty Air Force major just a week ago standing on the Capitol steps with a sign saying he wanted Trump impeached. The side said, impeach, convict, remove. And this major from the Air Force Academy, I believe, too, in uniform, which I've never seen before, but you'll let the audience know, what's going on with all this. And you wrote an article called Contemptuous Speech versus Supporting the Chain of Command, a Parable for the Unknown. Frame that out for the audience.
Yeah, so, I graduated, just a plug for Philadelphia, I graduated from LaSalle in their ROTC program, and this was a long time ago. And, I became a commissioned officer. And one of the things that always struck me while I was serving was that I never knew the politics of the people who were to the left or the right of me. I mean, never. You never talked about it. In fact, my very first battalion commander I had when I was a young lieutenant suggested that I should never vote because voting suggested a political preference, which is not acceptable for a U.S. Army officer.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment as far as not voting, but I agree with the not being political part.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really true for a really long time. And what happened is that somewhere back in the mid-2000s during the Obama administration, politicizing officers became acceptable. You had to endorse DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. You had to endorse the political views of the administration to really survive and get promoted. And that was a problem. I mean, Our military is supposed to be apolitical. We take an oath to the Constitution, which means that the president's the commander-in-chief, and as long as he's not telling us to, kill civilians for no reason or unlawful order, we follow his orders, and that's always how it's been. Somewhere along the way, we lost that, and you had situations where, and I wrote about this in multiple things online, including the article you mentioned, you had situations where things like a Navy admiral who, he was a Navy captain, on an amphibious ship, a very prestigious assignment, having these DEI ceremonies for Pride Month, literally an altar with the DEI colors on it.
Right.
That politicization was really bad. And, what's happened with Pete Hegseth and Trump and the team that they put in place is that they've said, we're no longer going to be political. We're going to purge this stuff. And as a result, you've had people like this Air Force major, getting on the steps of the Capitol and doing what you said.
Yep.
You've had Kelly and his gang, Senator Kelly and his gang of retired military, suggesting that that they're kind of too cute. They say, "Oh, don't follow unlawful orders." Well, yeah, don't follow unlawful orders. That's right. But what if the order is lawful and you pretend that it's unlawful? You've got this whole political tension.
Yeah.
And what Hegseth and Trump have done is saying, we're taking this out of the military. We're exterminating it. We're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of DEI. And this sort of weird dynamic has happened where there are serving officers, some senior officers, like in the lieutenant colonel ranks, who are online on the internet talking about how and why they support the initiatives of their chain of command. They support what the president's doing.
Yeah.
They support what the Secretary of War is doing. But what's happened is that people said, that's people on the left have said, that's political. And what they've done is said these guys who are doing this are the same as this major who's standing on the steps of the Capitol calling for the president's impeachment. It's not the same thing.
No.
When you say my chain of command is doing a good job and I support it, there's nothing wrong with that. When you're saying my chain of command are a bunch of scumbags and I want them impeached, that's a violation of good order and discipline. That's a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So when you hear people in the media conflating these two things, supporting what our military leaders are doing versus, tearing down what our military leaders are doing, they're not the same thing. So that's what my article was about. And if you want to go read it online, you can find it on my X account. It basically just gives an example of a very junior situation where a sergeant had a really bad chain of command and got a bunch of people killed in war, and then got a good chain of command, and he really supported it. And it's that sort of micro level that's been expanded to the top. We have senior military, and I don't even mean senior, I mean colonels, lieutenant colonels, and senior NCOs who are supporting what they're seeing because they realize it's what we need in America to be an effective warfighting force.
Yeah.
That's what my article was about.
Yeah, and and what happens is for the people that aren't paying attention every day, but when they conflate these things that they're the same thing, or they make these disproportional arguments, then people say, "Oh, well, they can't say anything." But that's not really what the rule is, correct?
No, it's not. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you publicly saying, I support what my leaders are doing.
Of course.
Right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I know. That's why I wanted to, you clarified it. That's the exact, and I'll compare, and the military is different than the corporate private sector. But I could tell you, if you were in my company and saying, when I owned my company, if someone was saying, Tom's doing a good job, we're doing this, he's improving, like after I took over for someone else, if they started saying the boss is horrible, he's ruining the company, the guy wouldn't be the sales manager anymore. It's completely different.
No, he wouldn't.
No, he'd be gone.
What intelligent person would allow that?
Yeah.
You know, and the proof is in the pudding. Initial enlistment rates are through the roof.
Yep.
I mean, under the Biden administration, we couldn't meet our enlistment goals. Now suddenly we can.
Yep.
Because the leadership we have is focusing not on politics in the military. The military is not a social experimentation force anymore. It's not an overtly DEI political force. It's about war fighting. And young people want to have a sense of purpose. They want to join the military and know that they're led by good people and that when they advance, they can lead good people. That's what it's about. That's why the enlistment rates are up. That's why I'm really comfortable with what we see in our nation's military right now.
Yeah, and I think people should know that a lot of our military comes from families, and they're like families in Texas and Florida and New Jersey. And I heard that when Biden was in and after the Obama era, families were like the fathers, the uncles were saying, this isn't a military you want to go into. And I think that I read that had an effect. But now it's coming back because now they feel that the military is back doing what they're warriors. They have a mission to fight, not do all this other social nonsense. So I'm assuming that this is changing the attitude of families to say to their kids, yeah, go in the military. You're in good hands. Who would have wanted to put their kids in the military under that military? They saw what happened in Afghanistan.
You are 100% right, Tom. I mean, look, I come from a military family. I was born late. I have a much older brother who served in Vietnam. My father was an NCO in World War II. My great-grandfather actually served on the USS Maine, the ship that got blown up to create the Spanish-American War.
Wow.
Thankfully, he got off before it got blew up because I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And, and so that was a tradition for me to join. And when I was talking to my nieces and nephews during the Biden and Obama administrations, I was recommending against joining up because of the toxic things that you're talking about. No longer. I think the military is back to where it's a great opportunity for young people, where enlisting or going to ROTC or going to an academy and becoming an officer, all of those are great opportunities to serve your country, to really fulfill what's inside you as a patriot, become a great leader, and give you skills that will last you the rest of your life. It's the right time to join.
No, absolutely. And Pete Hegseth, and I just had this thought, and I want your opinion on this. They've come after him so hard, but it seems like they're not even trying anymore. It seems like he's won whatever PR battle they tried to destroy him with. He seems to be like he's no longer a target. That's my feeling, but what do you see it from the military side?
No, I disagree. They're still coming at him relentlessly. I mean, it's like anything that you see within D.C. when you're not part of, I'll use the term, you're not part of the deep state structure, people are going to come after you. Hegseth was a major.
Yeah.
Never went beyond that.
Yeah.
He wasn't a senior general like the last couple of SecDefs we had. But he was in the dirt in Afghanistan. and in Iraq. He understands the mistakes we made at a strategic level because he paid the price.
Yeah.
I completely identify with him because I feel the same way. And he's come in and said all these things. You know, we never lost a tactical battle in either of those wars, but we lost a strategic battle because of poor leadership. And the people who are tearing down Hegseth are the ones who were in the institutions, whether it was the actual military or NGOs, think tanks. They're the ones tearing him down because what he's saying is, hey, you guys screwed up, and I'm here to fix that. And one of the criticisms he gets is that he focuses on things like, I saw a thing today, in fact. He's focusing on the appearance of military members, not being overweight, being in a sharp uniform. And they say, that's NCO business. Why is the Sec War worried about that? Because the institution stopped worrying about it, and he has to reinstitute that. So I think that all the criticisms of him are from the people who failed in the past and are threatened by the changes that he's making to fix things. And it honestly kind of sickens me.
So, and where you might be seeing it, where I don't see it as a civilian, what you're saying is within the military infrastructure and institutions, they might have been in more of the desk operations of the military, and they don't like a guy like him. So you probably is that true?
Well, I think the DEI plays a lot of it. Okay,
right.
DEI is critical theory. It's Marxism. It's saying there's no objective truth. It's subjective based on power. But the Constitution is not that. Military officers take an oath to the Constitution. So you had this divide in the military where you had these folks who were highly politicized, who were, very much devoted to this DEI idea that, your value was based on your skin color or what kind of genitals you had or what your sexual preference was. And those people started reaching rank. And that was just anathema to good order and military discipline. It wasn't what the Constitution is about. And a lot of them were very senior. And so, in fact, you saw C.Q. Brown, who was the general who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff when Hegseth took over, who, and while he was the Air Force Chief of Staff, wrote a document saying that we're gonna assess officers based on their skin color. He got fired. And he just came out the other day writing an article saying, hey, Hegseth's wrong. We're not looking at the right things. This is a political battle, but it's a deep political battle versus a political battle. Hegseth is trying to take the politics out of the Department of War, and he's fighting the people who are political, and they don't like it.
And, talking about Hegseth, and I want to just give him a little kudo here just because he wants people in shape, dressing appropriately. He's 45. I saw him bench 315. Not once. He did it twice because he wanted to prove to everybody that it was legit. He did it at home in front of but if you're 45, he's not that he's thin, like he's fit as anything, but throwing up 315 at 45 is pretty impressive. So he walks the talk, as they say. No doubt about that. I want to do a few fast takes with you before my producers tell me to go to commercial. Okay. I'm finding a lot on the MAGA side. Not a lot. They're just loud. And I think they have what I call LTQ, a low trust quotient. Everything to a certain segment is now a conspiracy. And some of these people, and I'm not even talking about the ones that are on social media and we all know their names, that people that put Trump in, they're just falling for so much nonsense now.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that they have a legitimate reason for that. I mean, if you look at where we've been since 2016 and really earlier, I mean, the whole, Trump-Russia collusion, fabricated. 2 weeks to stop the spread, fabricated.
Yeah.
All of these things Hunter's laptop is Russian disinformation, fabricated. The people we're supposed to trust have been lying to us for so long that trust has been lost in everything. And I can't say I disagree with people who feel that way. I get it. But at the same time, every wacko conspiracy theory isn't correct.
Right.
There are things out there that are just wrong. And one of the things I harp about on my X account and the articles I write is you got to judge for yourself. We're past the days where you can trust the media. You can't trust me. Don't trust me. Don't trust you.
Right.
Trust yourself
Yeah.
to do the investigation and figure things out. Just because something sounds like it's really bad and it's a conspiracy doesn't mean it is. And at the same time, I'm very sympathetic. There's been so much bad stuff.
I get it.
I get why people don't trust anyone.
I get it. What I say to them is, you can't give up your own logic. Don't let your emotions satisfy you to go down these stupid rabbit holes. Use your logic. But it seems like everybody's so fed up they move on. They kind of start going. And I don't want to say everybody. It's not everybody. It's just there's a loud community that does that. Now, you said something about Canada. I was looking at your feed today. Yeah, I guess you were just up there. Now, my mother was Canadian. I spent all my summers up there. But I will say this, and she comes from a really big family. To me, this is what I see. Canadians were once like a stoic humor. They loved good humor. They were tough. They were a polite people. But I don't know what happened up there. They've gotten so soft. Not in Saskatchewan and Alberta, which I've never been to. I've only been on the two coasts. But man, Canada, like the average Canadian comes at Americans pretty hard believe me, we have some people up there supporting what's going on here. But I am surprised how much Canada has changed.
Well, what I've been ranting about lately has to do with a certain Canadian airline, so I hope it's not one of your sponsors.
No.
But it's indicative, I think, of what's happened to Canada. I mean, Canada, you're right. The humor in Canada, you look at SCTV, Second City Television, Bob and Doug McKenzie. Canada was the source of so much American humor.
Yeah,
because
John
the
Candy.
Canadians have always been kind, intelligent people who were able to laugh at themselves. And I think that kindness, that willingness to get along is sort of the same problem that's happened with a lot of European countries where they said, oh, well, the Marxists mean well. They're trying to help everybody. Let's let them in power. And what's happened is you've turned Canada into one of the worst European states where the people are powerless, where you have to worry that someone's going to freeze your bank account because you said the wrong thing. And I don't know the answer. I mean, when I was up there, it was very obvious, and I've been up there quite a few times in my life, it was very obvious that there's been a sort of degradation in efficiency, in quality of services. It all feels very like pre-Berlin Wall, Eastern Europe inefficiency. And I don't know the answer. I mean, I feel bad for our Canadian friends. I think it's a beautiful country of beautiful people.
No doubt.
And they've fallen into a trap.
They picked the wrong team. They picked Western Europe, and they should have picked their neighbor right below them. But I think they've gone the way of the Europeans, who I think have gone in the totally wrong direction. My last question before I let you go: there was a flyover in South Carolina with the Apache helicopters, and then all of a sudden it looked great. I was watching the video, but the pilots were suspended. And why were they suspended?
Okay, so I don't know. I mean, the first thing that I saw was a bunch of people in the ocean and these Apaches coming over, and I said, wow, the downdraft on that's going to be a lot. Maybe they shouldn't have done that over people in the ocean. But I really don't know because I was never a pilot.
Right.
But to me, the thing is, if they did do something wrong, the answer is, hey, guys, slap on the wrist, knock that crap off, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do an investigation and suspend you.
Yeah.
That investigation system of every little thing that you might do right or wrong in the military cripples leadership.
No, I agree.
People are afraid to make decisions. If it was wrong, okay, tell them it was wrong and tell them not to do it again, but don't end their careers.
Yeah, and then the commanding officers, now they get in the gym because they got all this pressure coming down they make a mess of everything. That's what happens with woke ruins everything. I actually say Democrats ruin everything. Before I let you go, and you'll appreciate this, I did get to fly over the Pinelands in a Black Hawk helicopter once. It was what a day. I played Army man for a day. They had this thing. A friend of mine was a colonel. I got to go up there and play all day, and then they shot us out over the Pinelands. It was great. Cynical Publius, if you're not following him on X, you should be. Do it now. Cynical Colonel, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on here on Philadelphia.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Tom.
You got it.
Always glad to be here.
Great to have you. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Summer means vacations, road trips, and spending more time on the road with family and friends. United Tire is keeping America rolling by extending its 4th of July sale through July 18th. Receive an instant $104 savings on any set of 4 tires, plus free road hazard coverage on trusted brands like Michelin, Goodyear, Continental, and more. It's one of the best tire deals of the summer. Visit your local United Tire today. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Hi, I'm Paul Cozy from Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square. At Cozy, we design every piece ourselves, right here, family owned, and with the quality you deserve. People always ask me, Paul, does custom cost more? And I always say no. What costs more is settling for something that won't last. When you work with me directly, you get a piece you'll treasure for generations. Come step up to the 5th C at Cozy Jewelers. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Audient Hearing.
AI firms are much more aggressive in the pace of their software updates. Elon Musk says that SpaceX's AI model, Grok 4.5, has begun private beta testing at SpaceX and Tesla, with Musk saying Grok 4.5 is being built on a foundation model that's 3 times the size of the previous model. Musk says that SpaceX plans to release new AI models every month for the rest of the year. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby here on the afternoon show to 6 p.m., and I'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 9. And then Sunday, you got Barry Sable, 10 to 11. Phil Omquist, Saturday night, 11 to 1. This week in music history. So you got the whole weekend coming up. And now I'm going to get into a Scott Jennings clip. Scott Jennings, you guys all know from CNN. And let me tell you, that guy does a bang-up job. But now he's taking a little bit of heat from certain segments of the right that they believe. Well, before I get into my theory, let's play the clip, and then we'll discuss it. And I'm sure Matt and Justin might have plenty to say on this, too.
He asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets?
That was
Sorry,
right?
I hit the wrong one.
No, that's all right. We all make mistakes.
Cut one,
I
bad.
never do, but I understand when other people do, but go ahead.
Do you think he'd be willing to call into the show? Could we get him on the phone now?
You know, I wasn't really expecting him to call this morning, to be honest. So when the phone rang and I was able to talk to him, I was frankly pretty grateful. I mean, as I said, I've known him since I was a teenager. If it hadn't been for Mitch McConnell and the McConnell Center at the University of Louisville, you know, I would never have been able to go to college. He's been my mentor and he changed the trajectory of my life. So, you know, when things happen to him and happen to people in your life that you really care about, you know, you just sort of naturally feel extremely worried. So when I heard his voice today and he was clearly keeping up with stuff, that made me happy to hear from him. Because like everybody else, I've been, you know, somewhat in the dark about it. But to hear him talking and to know that he's also talking to the Senate leadership, it made me pretty happy.
The MAGA media ecosphere, shall we say, has been driving a lot of the questions about where Mitch McConnell has been and what has happened to him. You, of course, are in tune with that in the role you have on your radio show. Do you think they should put out a picture of Mitch McConnell, that he should release more to the public to quiet this noise?
Yeah, I think Al had a good point about McConnell's general disposition towards privacy. I sometimes wonder, like, if I were laying in a hospital bed, would I want a bunch of people around photographing me? Probably not, particularly if I were an 84-year-old person who's normally private about his health. Probably not. But I take the criticism. I think it's a fair question about transparency. I think it's a fair question about whether they've done enough. But ultimately, these office holders, you know, they're in charge of their own operations. And you know, it may be somebody around him says, let's put out a picture, and he doesn't want to do it. I think that's a fair observation from Al. But all I can tell you today is all the rumors about him being dead or brain dead or, you know, his body's being hidden somewhere. I've seen all kinds of crazy things on the internet. That's obviously not true because he picked up the phone and called me, and that was a good thing.
All right. Well, let him know. Our phone lines are open here at the arena. Should he
Long-time listener,
first-time
caller.
Okay. You know what? Our group chat, I think, solved it. They just said that Scott Jennings got a fake AI call from McConnell, that it was McConnell's voice on AI. You know what? Man, in this day and age, you could really pull that off on someone.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Oh, my God. That's kind of funny in the sense that that could happen to somebody. and they could go on a new, you know what? someone could act someday. Someone will do that, and someone will report it like they had a real conversation. I'm sure that's already happened today. But here's my thing. Obviously, Scott Jennings has had a very solid relationship with McConnell. I mean, and they're both from Kentucky, so obviously they have a good relationship. But I don't see any benefit where Scott Jennings, McConnell could die in a week. McConnell's career is coming to an end. Scott Jennings is not going to lie about McConnell. He might kind of spin it a little bit to say that, hey, he's okay. We had a good conversation. But why would Scott Jennings, and why would people turn on him so fast? This guy's in the trenches fighting these leftists every day. We're all of a sudden going to throw him under the bus? No, we throw people under the bus here, but they're not throwing Scott Jennings under the bus on our watch. I really think that goes back to what I was talking to Cynical Publius, the Colonel, that people immediately go down into the rabbit hole on these things. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and for the record, he's not the only one that's spoken with Mitch McConnell recently. John Thune has, I think he had a 20-minute phone call with him earlier in the week, and so did John Barrasso. So he must be pretty engaged. They claim he's fully aware of everything that's going on in the Senate.
Yeah.
There is a problem, obviously, and that there's no proxy voting in the Senate.
Right.
So his absence is creating a major issue, particularly when it comes to Pentagon budget spending. So right now there's apparently like a push within the Trump administration and the Trump Pentagon to increase military spending in 2027 from what's been set aside now, which I think is $1.15 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Right. And the issue is McConnell chairs the Senate Appropriations Panel that controls Pentagon spending.
Yeah.
And he's just not there.
Yep. And just like we had talked about this before when we were going after people on the left who looked like they were checking out the California senator who had the Chinese spy driver. I always forget her name. Diane. Yeah, you had to remind me of that the other day. McConnell should have resigned a long time ago. He hasn't been well. It's been at least a year since he froze in front of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He doesn't have to, because that's not the rule. But we have to develop a culture in this country with our politicians that we have to shame our side and their side to resign after a certain point. Listen, there can be some people that can do the job up until the day they die. Let me tell you, Donald Trump seems to be one of those guys, which I see every day. And there's other guys like that too. There just are people like that. But the ones who aren't like that, when their physicality starts to fail, they got to go. And Republicans saw McConnell failing. So now we got this. He's really mucking up the system right now.
Yeah, and like they only have I think it's a 53-47 majority in the Senate. And as we noted earlier in the week, there are a handful of Republican senators who are outgoing that aren't super, I guess, ambitious to appease Donald Trump at this point. Like John Cornyn, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Trump campaigned against him in the primary. Tom Tillis doesn't seem to be a big fan of Donald Trump. And for the record, I want to point out, I actually do like Mitch McConnell. He's the reason why we have Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. And I think people forget about that, because when Scalia died, if McConnell hadn't stayed strong, Merrick Garland would have that seat in the Supreme Court right now, and things might look a lot different.
You know what? And that reserves him a place in the Republican Hall of Fame, regardless if you don't like him. And here's another thing about his personality. He is a guy that doesn't tell you much. He keeps his cards close to the vest, as they say. He's always done that. I'm not a huge fan of his, but you're absolutely correct. He has he's made some big moves that have helped Republicans over the years. So, but this one, I don't. So we were talking about this before the break. If God takes him, there would be a special election in Kentucky, right? So the seat would remain empty.
Yes, my understanding is that Andy Bashir would not be able to appoint his successor. There would be a special election to fill the seat, which would obviously take a while. And at that point, I mean...
And you're making another point. Andy Bashir is a Democrat, and so if McConnell was hanging on because he didn't want that to happen, but he's known all along Andy Bashir couldn't do that. They'd have to have a special election. And, he's just waited around too long, and he's creating a problem for getting things done. There's no doubt about that. Justin, would you like to talk about Mitch McConnell at all? Do you have any insight or feedback? Were you a fan of Mitch McConnell? I'd like to know.
I mean, I'm as much of a Mitch McConnell fan as anybody can be. Thankful for him for stopping Merrick Garland from being on the Supreme Court, because God knows, like Matt said, God knows where we would be if Merrick Garland was on the courts.
Right. Wow. That Merrick Garland, after seeing his performance under Biden, wow.
Just imagine that for the next 15 to 20 years on the court.
And Gorsuch, it's not like he's a weak appointment. He was an excellent selection.
Yeah.
Might be the best of the Trump batch, actually.
Yeah,
Probably is.
Yeah, he seems like he is the man at this point.
By the way, the speculation is that if McConnell were to resign, the special election would likely just occur on November 3rd when they do everything else.
When they do the other elections. Okay. All right, we'll move off of. Okay, before Scott Jennings should be given a break,
yes,
because that guy, you get to go to that table every day and fight with those people. I know that's his job and he's making money. Listen, that's hard to do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, look at us three. We all sit around here. We kind of are on the same team. This guy goes into the lion's den. They're trying to rip his arms off. But he always seems to come out. He's a gladiator.
He's good.
He's good. So I don't like when people immediately start killing the guy just because he says, I like the guy. I talked to him on the phone. That's what he said. We should believe him for now until someone can prove otherwise. Well, they did.
There's AI Mitch McConnell.
The AI Mitch McConnell. Oh, my God. If that came out tomorrow, how embarrassing would that be? Then I'd say fire him. All right, let's go to another subject, which is an awful subject, and that is with Charlie Kirk getting assassinated by this sociopath, Tyler Robinson. Here's another conspiracy out there already. Now, this isn't a trial. Everybody has to know it's not a trial. It's a preliminary hearing if it's going to trial, which it will go to trial. This is where the judge looks at everything and says, yeah, there's enough here. We got to go to trial. But the defense started attacking everything. And let me tell you, there's a ton of people online saying, oh, I don't like the way this looks. And I'm going to give you one thing that I believe is misinformation, and I'm not an expert. But they're all saying, they say it about everything. The shot was impossible, okay? Robinson shot at 150 to 200 yards. That is a comfortable shot for a rifle with a scope on it, with a Mauser 98 bolt action hunting rifle. It can go up to 300 to 400 yards, okay? So I looked it up. I've fired different rifles. I'm not an expert. Let me tell you, these gun experts, it's like guys who, if you play with a good golfer or anybody that's really into things, listen, it's very complicated. Even if you like, firing weapons and stuff, there's like a whole other level of guys that are into it. So I try to listen to these guys that are into firearms and studying them. And from my understanding, from the sources I got, it's not that hard of a shot with a scope on it that Robinson took. There's a guy that, has a decent following. His name is Eric Mustos or something. He's a former Salt Lake City police officer. He seems to be a guy, like one guy out online with a ton of followers telling us this is an impossible shot. But what I'm telling you is that guys that know all about firing these long rifles, they're saying, no, this was a hit you could make. And this guy has gotten in trouble before, too. And I guess I'm going after him because I hate these conspiracy theories. But a little background on him, he didn't want to ride his motorcycle in a gay parade in Utah for religious reasons as a police officer. And now he got fired for that. Maybe he got fired for something, allegedly. Now he's a podcaster. And I guess you got to produce some of this material to keep the audience interested. Because I'm surprised hundreds of thousands of people love all this nonsense. And I'll get to the, not riding the motorcycle at the gay parade as a police officer. That's your job. Just get out there on your dumb motorcycle. It doesn't mean, you're endorsing anything. That's your job. Like, it's, there's all different types of parades. I'll beat on the Irish again. Like when they do St. Patty's Day. What if some guy's like, I'm Italian, the Irish were mean to me back in whatever. Just get on the motorcycle and do your job. Could you imagine if everyone, because of their personal beliefs, stopped doing their job about everything? God, the whole economy would fall apart. But anyway, he's the one that came out with the rifle thing. So that being said, what else do we have, guys, on this Tyler Robinson? What do we have that you guys find interesting?
Let's take a quick break before we do that because we're kind of up against the clock.
We're moving quick here. Okay, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit more of the assassination of Charlie Kirk by this sociopath, Tyler Robinson.
When the doctor informed me that I had to be transplanted, I froze. I was in shock.
Mr. Gatling was on dialysis. He had end-stage kidney failure. Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtual Health.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
I can stay in my own backyard. I thank them for keeping me alive.
Virtual Health, the only transplant center in South Jersey. Here for good. Learn more at virtua.org.
When it comes to your home, you shouldn't have to roll the dice with a small contractor or pay the high prices of a giant one. At Lemus Remodeling Group, a family-owned company, you get the perfect balance. Expert exterior remodeling from a team that's nationally recognized and neighborhood trusted. From roofing and siding to windows, doors, and gutters, the Lemus team delivers quality work, honest pricing, and a home that feels brand new. Call 610-GO-LEMUS to schedule your free consultation today or visit their website at golemus.com. Lemus Remodeling Group. Trust Lemus for a lifetime.
Everything is better in the summer, and everything's better at the shore, and you deserve a vacation. Summer vacation. If it's still sitting on your to-do list, stop procrastinating, because July is one of the best times to head to my happy place, the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. It's Rich Zioli. Book a July midweek stay. They're going to give you resort credits. Say 3 nights, you're going to get $60 a night in resort credits. 5 nights, get $70 a night. Stay 7 nights, receive $80 a night in resort credits. And you can use those credits on food and beverages in Hemingway's restaurant, the pool bar, beach concession stand, or the gift shop. You can take your family on a whale-watching boat cruise, but you have to book direct with them to get the best rates and to get those resort credits. You're going to love the Grand Hotel. You're going to love Cape May. If you've never been, it's my favorite shore town. And the Grand Hotel has a beautiful outdoor heated pool and an indoor heated pool if the weather's not great. Book today before they sell out. GrandHotelCapeMay.com.
Well, Lorenzo, the pitch looked good.
Yeah, so green.
USA keeper was decent enough.
Didn't have much to do.
99 minutes.
Not a single goal. Well, Bet365 sure came through, though. I bet $10 and got $150 in bonus bets just for signing up.
At least someone scored.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Hey, this is Larry Stitus with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
When someone's AC is on the fritz or drains are just not draining at all, like at all, Horizon Services never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Horizon will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at horizonservices.com.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
From Chester Springs to Clemington, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the afternoon show, 3 to 6. Since we were talking about guns and rifles and if that shot could be made against Charlie Kirk from that distance, we're going to keep the gun talk going. Let's go to J.D. Vance, and it sounds like his grandmother was one of those gun experts I was talking about previously. If we have him talking about his grandmother and what she was packing, let's play that.
Man, she was so non-conventional, right? She was not like a sit at home and knit you a sweater kind of grandmother. She was a woman of very devout Christian faith. She loved the F-bomb. And when she died, we discovered 19 loaded handguns in her house.
Oh my God.
And I know you're a Second Amendment guy, but
19?
we figured out, but not just 19, but 19 spread randomly all over her house. And we're thinking to ourselves, obviously we can't ask her because she had died. What the hell did she need with a loaded handgun in the silverware drawer? And
why
we
take
realized,
chances?
Why take chances? It's because she couldn't get around that well towards the end of her life. It sort of hit us. And she wanted to make sure that no matter where she was, if somebody walked into her house in Middletown, Ohio, she had a loaded handgun within arm's reach because she couldn't move around that well.
When you first hear it, your first reaction is, wow, that's overkill. But listen, she was a tough woman from where they were, the Ohio Valley or wherever, part of the Appalachia whole scene. Like, listen, these are tough people. I got a little bit of that security instinct. I always know, where my weapons are or whatever. I've kind of grown up that way, always knowing what you have. But anyway, that was a good clip. We're going to be back with our guest, Mario Perez, as SEAL Team 6 operator, and we're going to have a lot to talk about with drones. We'll be back after this break.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Is life insurance still on your list from earlier this year? Now is the perfect time to just get it done. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey, shh. Listen. Do you hear that? It's your heart. Chances are you take that precious sound for granted. And if you're like a lot of Americans, 1/3 to be exact, you're not doing anything to prevent heart disease. So what if a cardiologist told you exactly how best to love your heart? Would you listen then? Go to clevelandclinic.org/loveyourheart and learn what really matters and what doesn't when it comes to that lovable heart of yours.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Breaking news in a post on X, Graham Plattner shared his letter to the Maine Secretary of State's office, the Democrat officially withdrawing from the state Senate race. Plattner dogged by accusations of abuse from women, which he denies. More reaction to this week's fatal shooting of a Mexican national by a federal immigration officer in Houston, claiming self-defense. A man the Department of Homeland Security says was not the original target. Houston Mayor John Whitmire.
We're not settling to wait for an FBI report. For all we know, could take a year. We want answers.
The man's family disputes. ICE claims that he used his vehicle to hit the unmarked car with federal agents inside. Mexican officials say they will file criminal complaints over deaths of its citizens in ICE custody or as part of immigration enforcement. The several days-long preliminary hearing for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist, is over until September 1st. Prosecutors aim to show they have enough evidence against Tyler Robinson to go to trial. September 1st will be the final arguments. Until then, the lawyers will be working on their legal briefs. Where storms have caused flooding in the Midwest and East, emergency responders are looking for 10 to 17 people in the water after a building collapsed at a campground in Missouri, according to local officials. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
In Iron and Reynolds County, Missouri, they've got people needing rescue at campgrounds. They've had 6 to 10 inches of rain fall in just a couple of hours. So what's happening here is we have training thunderstorms, meaning they're rolling over the exact same area over and over again. So if you've already had 6 to 10 and now you're going to try to add 3 to 5 inches, that's a big problem.
The European Union demanding Facebook, parent company Meta, dismantle features it says make Facebook and Instagram addictive to users. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
With a verdict on Main Street about the economy mixed, depending on who you ask. On Wall Street, by comparison, it's mostly smiles today. Major indexes closed higher. The S&P 500 index closed out its 4th winning week in the last 5. Despite renewed strikes in Iran, U.S. crude oil futures are trading essentially flat, a little over $71 a barrel. Machinery with hoses can be seen at the reflecting pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington. No confirmation if it's to drain the pool. Demanding a transparent investigation and an independent autopsy, the family of the Mississippi teenager whose body was found off of Barrier Island. Nolan Wells was last seen on July 4th, celebrating the holiday with friends out on a boat near Horn Island. At a briefing in New York with the family's attorney, Reverend Al Sharpton.
This does not smell right. So some people are saying, Reverend, are y'all bringing in race? Well, we're not bringing in race, but we're not discounting race either.
Wells' mother says it's suspicious that her son's cell phone showed no social media activity. Scary mid-air incident on board a Ryanair flight in Europe. A portion of the plane's fuselage came apart, causing a window panel to dislodge. The passenger closest to the window was taken to the hospital. Nobody else hurt. It happened shortly after takeoff when the flight was heading to Germany from Greece. Plane landed safely. A Greek aviation official says they think there was a massive rupture in the engine. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte here with my brother Terry and my nephew Justin. You know, every sport has its essential safety gear.
For racing, we wear helmets, fire retardant suits, and Nomex gloves.
For fishing, waterfowl hunting, and boating, we wear life jackets.
After an intense race, there's nothing more relaxing than bass fishing.
Or a little duck hunting on the lake.
But we're the first ones to tell you, on the track or on the water, accidents happen fast.
In a crash, there's no time to put on a helmet. And when a boater capsizes or is thrown from the boat, there's rarely time to reach a stowed life jacket.
But today's life jackets are lightweight and comfortable. Fishing or hunting, they don't get in your way.
That's why you won't catch a Labonte on the water without a life jacket.
Don't let us catch you either. Remember, you're in command. Boat safely.
This message brought to you by the United States Coast Guard. For more information on boating safety, visit www.uscgboating.org.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk. From Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
From 3 to 6, you'll agree. Everyone loves WPHT, so tune in and stay a while. We'll keep you company mile by mile. 3 to 6, loud and free. Time to listen to Azelby.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. This is Tom Azelby. We're taking it at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be bringing up my next guest. This is Mario Perez. Mario is a retired Navy Master Chief. He's an ST-6 operator. That stands for SEAL Team 6. The best way to label, he labels himself this, and it's a great title. He's a former rocket surgeon because he was an ordnance specialist, and he's the guy you bring in with you got explosive rockets, weapon systems. But even though he does, that was his expertise. When you're a SEAL Team 6 operator, you do all the other stuff, jumping out of planes, diving, and all the stuff that they do. Today, Mario is the Chief Revenue Officer for Sub UAS, and it's a multi-domain drone. He's the Chief Revenue Officer. That means they're building this. They have this drone that can fight on the air, can fight in the air and the sea. This drone does both, which is quite interesting. So we're going to talk a lot about the drones, and I'd like to talk. Maybe Mario will share a little bit about his career, too, and some of the things that he's done and seen and what have you. Mario Perez, welcome to Philadelphia 1210 WPHT. How are you, Mario?
Hey, good. How you doing, Tom? Good to hear from you again.
Yep, it's great to talk. I've in the beginning of the show, I did tell the audience that we do have a cigar and a whiskey every once in a while at the Sunset Grill in Jupiter, Florida, which I always enjoy. But we'll get down to business. My first question: when you were on your combat tours, Iraq, Afghanistan, or wherever the SEALs took you, how much was how much drone activity was it? Like, was that a core part of your arsenal, or is that really kind of gone in a different direction?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we had what people know of, like the Global Hawks or the Predator drones that were way up at whatever, I don't know, 10,000 feet or so, used as essentially as ISR. But you're talking a couple drones in theater that are split between everybody in theater. So it's nothing like it is today. My last combat deployment was in 2006.
Right.
Before I started doing different type of work at the command. So that long before we were really using like personal drones on the battlefield. We were starting to experiment with them,
right?
But we hadn't integrated them into combat operations at that point.
So what you're doing today as the chief revenue officer, you're now in the drone business. Do you ever look, now that you're like selling this technology, you understand this technology, do you ever look back and say, wow, when I was on this mission, this drone would have been real handy to have? Like, are you experiencing that right now? Wow, what if we had this at the time, it would have been very helpful. Or I don't know if it works that way with special operators and drones.
No, I mean, with all the technology that's out there and all the various sizes and capabilities of drones, absolutely. I mean, almost in every mission we could have leveraged that technology and that autonomy. We just didn't have it, and that forces you essentially to, either not execute that mission or assume risks that nowadays you wouldn't have to assume nearly as much, because you can get persistent ISR right directly to you, right in front of you, without exposing yourself to a lot of threats.
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely opportunities to use this stuff now, and I know that they are. Certainly wish we would have had some of it back then, for sure.
So this drone warfare, and everyone keeps hearing about it from any conflict that's going on around the world now. So these drones are kind of institutional game changers for combat now?
Yeah, I mean, everything is being flipped on its head right now.
Yeah.
Everybody can have air dominance right now. And they can do it for, with $500 drones.
Yep.
I mean, you look at, obviously everyone knows what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and, you get the big superpower over there. And then the little country that most people never heard of or couldn't point to on a map is kicking their butt. And it's largely to do with drones that cost, less than $500.
Right.
But, the whole battlefield is transparent. There's no more hiding a couple miles away because, your enemy doesn't have, air capability or, something like the Pred or whatever.
Right.
Now everybody has air capability, and they can do it for very little money. So you're not, now it's a bigger problem to try to hide than it is to, figure out where your enemy are. Everybody knows where your enemy is. Now,
right. Yeah.
Now you're figuring out, how the heck do I hide this formation, these vehicles, these helicopters or whatever assets they are, whether it be people, equipment, or buildings. Everything is a target now, and everything is essentially out in the open. So yeah, a lot is being changed for sure. And I do want to point out one quick thing. It's not just a drone revolution that we're seeing. It's really an autonomy revolution, because while the little drones that fly in the sky that several of us have at home, that's what we see the most. But the reality is we've got vehicles that are doing this, as we just saw recently. In the Gulf of Oman, we've got USVs, unmanned boats, that recovered 4 pilots. We've got things that are going underwater that can do various things under there. Mine, of course, at WAS, mine's the only one that does more than one, which is essentially it flies in the air like a normal drone, but then it can land on the water, and then it can go down to about 1,000 feet. So, but yeah, it's a matter of autonomy, and it's a matter of integration between machine and personnel.
Right.
So it's very interesting.
I want to ask about your drone in a minute. And one thing when you brought up Ukraine, okay, so the drones now are creating a gasoline shortage. It's having huge impacts by hitting wherever they're processing their refinery system is getting hit by all these drones. That now the average Russian is having a tough time filling their car with gasoline. So this technology can create a ton of havoc for a country that's at war. That's a big game changer.
No, absolutely. I know we just saw over the last day or two that Ukraine started hitting a lot of refineries for Russia. They're trying to have economic warfare, and try to win this battle politically internally to Russia.
Right.
And again, these things they're also they're immune to spoofing or jamming or electronic warfare because they're flying on what do you call it? What's the network cables? Give me a second. The fiber optics. They're flying on fiber.
Yeah.
They're flying on fiber optic up to 10 miles.
Right. Right.
So almost over the horizon, or if you're at ground level and with buildings and trees, it's way over the horizon. So they don't have to have GPS. These things are flying by sight. They're giving real-time imagery and real-time feedback. And, they're all one-way drones. So they're going out there to hit something and, hit, they will. And they're going to, they're wreaking havoc. So yeah,
I want to get back to your product from Sub UAS. Give us in a combat situation, a drone that can also fly and go underwater. What type of mission is that type of drone going to be used for?
Well, I think a lot of that's still evolving. Certainly for what we see in the Strait of Hormuz and what's going on in Ukraine. Mine countermeasures is something we can resolve really quickly and really inexpensively. So ultimately clearing the Strait of Hormuz is going to be much less of a problem than it would have been if we were relying on people or ROVs, right? You can just fly this thing out to, ultimately we'd probably use USVs with side scan sonar to pick up, the obvious objects. And then you can just send this thing fly out to a coordinate, drop down, go straight down, plant a charge, fly back up, blow the thing, and then go right back in immediately for, to see the effects of the explosives and then move on. Normally that is an all-day operation for one thing, and you're risking, human capital, which is obviously, as we know, is a big threat. Now you can do it from the shore or from, the safety of someplace far away. So what else? So,
I do have a question. I have a question on that. So, say if you have a land target, right? That is, from a detection standpoint, because now they're trying to detect and build the defenses to stop the drones. So, could you actually use a drone for some type of mission where it's going to attack something that it would stay underwater from a kind of non-detection and then come out, so it's less time in the air? I mean, is that going to be part of the strategy?
Absolutely, as long as you're near water. Now, this thing, it can stay underwater almost indefinitely, but it can fly underwater for almost 20 hours, which is insane. But and that's it's probably an hour or hour and a half in the air, but underwater you're not dealing with gravity, and the props are actually spinning much slower than they would be to keep this thing afloat, in the air. So I forget what the current it's drawing. It's 1.5 amps or something. I was just working with this on the west coast of Florida yesterday. It can. The fact that this thing can go, and this is without us really pushing the limits. We're literally just sticking to kind of the same package and configuration that we already have.
Yeah.
And we can swim underwater for 20 hours, which is insane. So we could go to a spot, anchor there, wait for a certain signal or certain events to happen, and then pop up and do something or provide something, ISR intel, whatever, deliver something, take something away, whatever. There's a lot of options, and to try and detect it underwater.
Yeah.
Good luck. It's a game changer. We're working, with SOCOM and a lot of other end users, to kind of figure out what that mission set looks like. Obviously, I come from a background there, and but yeah, we're actively working with warfighters to help improve their capabilities with our technology and others that are out there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, like I remember sitting around one day and I asked you this question. We were talking about a book that I read about diving, and I was saying how these divers were at like a crazy depth, but these are recreational divers and they were doing something. And you told me at some point you would dive looking for mines at some crazy depth. What was that depth again? And you weren't breathing from normal, diving tanks. What was that?
Yeah, it was 330 feet, and we're breathing a mixed gas rebreather that we can change the air that we're breathing, but ultimately for deep depths, we're not breathing any nitrogen at all. We've got a pure O2 bottle, and we've got a pure helium bottle.
Right.
Nitrogen is an inert gas, so you can breathe in it, doesn't do anything bad or good, and then you breathe it out.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, where I'm going.
No, go ahead.
So where I'm going with this, you're diving at that was some incredible depth, and you told me at that point that you're down there with some tool that you have, magnometer or whatever, looking for mines. And I said to you, "Are you worried about a shark eating you?" And you said, "No, I'm more worried about." First, I asked you what's it like. You said it's dark and quiet. I asked about a shark. You said, "No, I wasn't really worrying about that. I'm more worried about a mine blowing up." So now I get back to the drone. To the drone. Are you saying that drone could do what you were doing as a SEAL Team 6 operator?
It can do it in probably 1% of the time. Like
right.
Just to get ready for a dive mission is hours and hours and hours.
Right.
Especially this type of rig. This is a very complicated rig. It's not just a scuba rig. So yes, hours and hours and hours. And then the operation, all of the backup, all of the support, the vessels, the vehicles, whatever. And then yes, getting out there and hunting for it. And yes, you're doing it largely, I've got a handheld sonar.
Yeah.
Just sweeping back and forth, and I'm listening. There's certain signals that will come back to you. Just like a dolphin is using echolocation. We're essentially doing the same thing. We're just not nearly as smart as the dolphins are. But we know what those things sound like. And, and then we're swimming up to it. And yes, we have to take all kinds of safety precautions because we don't know what this thing is designed to set off for, whether it's magnetic, acoustic, seismic, pressure, all of these things are signatures that I could potentially replicate swimming up to it.
Right.
So yes, super risky. And ultimately, this drone could just, fly in there with its own sonar, its own magnetometers, its own, optics, and we can have, full motion video. We can have, a sonar down there, all kinds of different technology on there, and we can swim right up to it. We can bring explosives, drop something off, and then, pop right out of the water. It's a big difference between us and like an ROV. We are currently using ROVs.
Yeah, and and the ROV, explain that to the audience, the ROV.
Remote operating vehicle. It's essentially like a generator, like a home generator that's got a long tether. You put it in the water and it goes, and it can do very similar things, but difference is it's much more expensive. It usually takes like a decent sized generator, probably 2 to 4 people to manage it. And then you're going to be limited to the length of the tether. And, when you go and place that charge and set that thing off, you can't leave that ROV underwater because it's going to screw up the ROV.
Right.
So with ours, we can go in very rapidly. It's the whole thing is probably 30 pounds, depending on the payload. So I could just one hand and throw it into the water or fly it, to a location.
Right.
Land on the surface, drop down, go right to the object, plant a charge, and then, pop right out of the water, offset, 50, 100 feet or whatever, just so you're not getting hit by the plume. Ignite it, and then go right back down. Get your SSE, secure site exploitation, just confirmation that this thing blew up. You'll probably know. If you got a 100-pound mine down there and you just put a 1-pound charge on it, you probably know between a 1-pound and a 100-pound charge going off. And then and if not, you can go reattack right away and do something else. But it's just it expedites the capability at a much lower cost, much lower, support for personnel and equipment and whatever. So
Okay.
super cool technology.
So this the drones, these things are a game changer. So we got a little time left, and I'm gonna give a rapid fire questions as a SEAL team operator, just because people will be interested. I know you've been in a lot of different combat zones, dangerous areas, and I'm not talking. What was your most uncomfortable situation you were in? I'm not saying dangerous, just like where, because people understand that the SEALs get put in places that are just miserable to be, waiting for a mission. If you can think of one, where's a spot that you were like, oh God, I never want to go back there?
Well, as much as I loved Afghanistan geographically, operating there was very difficult. You're just so remote, and you're isolated, and you don't really have a whole lot of backup. So you're going into valleys where people can see you from a day and a half. They know you're coming. They know you're not local. They know exactly who belongs there and who doesn't, and you're just kind of sticking out. Very, very much so. So. Right. Very, very difficult to operate in that environment. Most other places, Somalia, I loved Yemen. Iraq was easy, relatively speaking. But Afghanistan was definitely one of the hardest, and it's a reason it's never been, conquered by an outside power for, since Alexander the Great. It's the terrain. The terrain dictates that. Now with drones, that might be a game changer, but we'll see. Yep. Anyways, sorry, rapid fire.
No, that's good. That's you named a few of the countries, giving your perspective. I like that. So, as an operator, you got to hike mountains, you got to parachute, you got to swim, you got to dive. These are all combat environments. What's your favorite thing to do, or like in any job where you're like, oh, I don't mind jumping out of the plane, but I don't like diving? Which one? Is there any of those, or a category where you're like, I prefer this over that?
Well, I will say the one thing that has always given me the most excitement was really being on our HSACs, our little, high-speed cigarette boats.
Yeah.
Jumping out into the middle of the ocean, a couple hundred miles from shore, middle of the night, and you're out there with, 60 or so of the best pipe hitters and boat drivers and support folks in the world. And you're out there doing, a pretty good pace in pretty rough seas, and you wouldn't know it because the boat drivers are phenomenal, the SWIC operators. And you're out there in a wedge formation, and you're going and you're making your way towards an enemy vessel. And you're so close to these guys next to you that, you could hand, a can of dip between the boat next to you, and back and forth. And you're in, 4 to 6 sea state, hauling butt, and you're just bringing, a capability to, an enemy force that nobody else in the universe could do, which is it's just so cool. And you're doing it in the middle of the night.
How fast are those boats moving?
I don't know.
Right.
I know that 55 or knots or so is probably where we go, which in the big scheme of things is not fast for like a cigarette race boat. But this one just got launched out of an airplane.
Yeah.
It's got 16 guys on board. It's got a spare boat and a spare motor and all kinds of equipment and stuff. So it's carrying a heck of a lot more. So, they're incredible.
What I was thinking is at 55 knots, and you're saying you can hand the guy in the other boat a dip, like that, they would travel in that tight of a formation.
Yes. And our SWIC operators go to like every boat school available to man, and they don't go to like ones that are just put onto the military. They go to professional offshore racing schools. So people who are actually race boats for a living that can really teach you all of the fine details about making something, precise, not just passing a qualification, but optimizing your capability and optimizing your capability with regards to your specific vessel. And trust me, they're good. And the thing is about what those guys do, if they suck, everybody knows it. You're going to know. There is no hiding if you're a bad boat driver. So, if you're not up to par, they're going to get you up to par, or they're going to send you on their way, and they're going to find somebody who can. So it's impressive. It's very impressive.
And it's usually done in the dark too, correct?
It's almost always done in the dark. Yeah, I mean, obviously we train in both, but we always train. The common saying, train hard, fight easy. We want all of our training to be much more difficult than the worst possible mission we could imagine. So, we're going out in the Mid-Atlantic in February at night, and our SWIG operators and some of us in the back are coming back with an inch of ice on our NVGs. Because it's freezing, you're getting soaked, and, you're out there paying the man. But ultimately, when the real-world mission comes, they are going to be easier, almost always, than what we do in training. So it makes it fun.
That's good stuff. That's Mario Perez, retired Navy Master Chief, ST-6 operator. Great having you, and thanks for doing that, answering some of those questions. Obviously, drones are a game changer. What an interesting business to be in now, Mario. Great having you again.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll be back right after this break.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Hey, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the Piazza Auto Group are looking to adopt a local animal shelter, and it could be yours.
You know, our friends at Piazza Auto Group believe in giving back to the communities they serve. For years, they've supported local animal shelters that work tirelessly every day to rescue, rehabilitate, and adopt homeless animals.
And we're looking for one deserving shelter to become the beneficiary of our year-round fundraising efforts, donation drives, community outreach, adoption events, and on-air support to help provide much-needed resources, all to help more animals find loving forever homes.
If you're a decision maker, volunteer, or staff member at an animal shelter or rescue organization in Philadelphia or the suburbs, we'd love to hear from you. Visit 1210wpht.com/Piazza Pets and tell us why your shelter should be selected as our partner.
Because when a community comes together, amazing things happen. Piazza Auto Group. Just visit 1210wpht.com/Piazza Pets.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-453-2609. 800-453-2609. That's 800-453-2609.
This piece is perfect, but I'm just not sure about the color.
Honey, this is Bucks County Estate Traders. They're a one-stop shop with their in-house upholstery service. Their design team can help us customize it to fit our living room perfectly.
Even if I'm thinking bright purple?
Okay, let's talk about this.
Bring your vision to life, however bold it may be. With Bucks County Estate Traders' in-house upholstery service, our craftsmen can redesign any piece on the showroom floor to make it yours. Visit our Hatfield showroom today or click buckscountyestatetraders.com.
People ask, is PNC just a boring bank? Well, that depends. Is starting a business boring, or being the first person in your family to go to college? For nearly 160 years, they've done the hard and occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. To see what boring banking can do for you, stop into any of their local branches right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council. No! USA is up 2-0. That is the most dangerous lead in soccer.
Relax, Mike.
See that, Dan? My left eye is twitching. That's my warning eye. It'll be 2-2 by stoppage time. It's never wrong.
With early payout from Bet365, I got paid the second they went up 2 goals. So to me, it's now the safest lead.
Early payout from Bet365, huh? Now my right eye is twitching, Dan.
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply. In-app only.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. This is Tom Azelby, the afternoon show this Friday. We're into the last part of the show. It's 5:35 already. This show went very, very quick. Before we went to the interview with Mario Perez, we were talking about the Tyler Robinson, and he'll be moving towards his trial now, I'm sure. No judge is going to not move this case forward. What were we talking about before we brought our interview on? That we have some clips with the Tyler Robinson case, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of clips. We're basically discussing what unfolded during this preliminary hearing yesterday. There was video testimony from Lance Twiggs, Robinson's roommate, and I guess they were dating at one point. Let's start with cut number 5. This is kind of the most damning information we've received so far. This is Tyler Robinson this is Lance Twiggs saying that Tyler Robinson actually told him that he regretted killing Charlie Kirk.
And Lance Twigg is the girlfriend.
I think he's a man. I think he switched back according to the New York Times. He's no longer identifying as female.
He transitioned back.
That's what they said. I don't know how accurate that is.
And I'm not making a joke here. So Tyler was dating her. Though
Correct.
She was a male, she was a trans woman, so we know she's a woman. We know what the category is. But I actually asked this question to AI. What would you classify Tyler, and I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole, but I will. I can't help myself. Would you say he's heterosexual, bisexual, or gay, or homosexual? And AI said if Tyler was dating her as a trans woman, that he's heterosexual. But the trans woman has male genitalia. But that's that was the question I asked. I was just curious what the answer would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
And would anyone want to field that question?
No, I'll let AI handle that.
We'll let Barry handle it. He's on hold. When we bring him on, that'll be a question for him. But let's play the clip first.
So he acted erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
Right, and that's within the home? Mm-hmm. And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
Okay, what are we taking from that clip, fellas?
It sounds like Tyler Robinson told Lance Twiggs that he was the one that pulled the trigger.
Yeah, and he did it. He not only did it verbally to the witness, his roommate or lover or whatever. But he also did it in text too, correct?
There's a letter, I believe, and then he also told his parents. So there's plenty of.
Was there also like a handwritten letter that he left?
There is, because they
Twigs?
accidentally showed that in court yesterday, and I think they were supposed to hold off on that. He also confided in a Discord group chat, I believe, saying that he was the one responsible.
It's like he wanted to get caught.
It sounds to me like he almost instantaneously regretted his decision and was just looking for someone to like reach out to and tell him everything would be okay. But I'm only speculating. I don't know.
Did he ever say on Discord or any social media that he was going to do it, or this is what he said after the assassination?
Well, Lance Twiggs claims that he had no idea that this was something that Tyler Robinson was interested in.
Right.
And even Tyler Robinson's parents said that he never really talked politics too frequently, although he was identifying as like pretty or I guess progressive, not liberal. He was mostly fixated on trans and gay rights, though, and nothing else political. That was sort of his wheelhouse. That's what he was most interested in, and apparently that's what he disagreed with Charlie Kirk on.
It doesn't sound like Lance Twiggs, and maybe because the prosecutors squeezed him, but I don't know, he's being he's a helpful witness.
He seems cooperative.
He seems very cooperative. So, and maybe he got the advice from his lawyer, like, don't take any heat for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to just tell him exactly what you know.
Well, I believe some of Twiggs' DNA was found on a towel that was wrapped around the rifle. Excuse me. Which isn't to say that Twiggs was involved in any way, but
No,
certainly,
of
like,
course.
if you had that information and you're Twiggs, you obviously want to be as cooperative as possible, so
Yeah.
that
You're not
possibility
you're
never.
not
Exactly.
an accessory.
Yeah.
No, that's. I think we have another clip. Do you think we go to the Candace Owens clip at this point?
Sure, if you'd like to do that. So Candace Owens she's presented a long list of bizarre conspiracies to explain why Tyler Robinson is innocent. She believes he's a patsy. Well, the one argument she's made for a while is that Lance Twiggs was never questioned by police. I don't know what that means in the grand scheme of things, but she seems to suggest that this is proof that the whole thing is a grand conspiracy and that neither one of them have anything to do with what really unfolded. However, during the court hearing, we learned that that isn't the case. They did obviously question Lance Twiggs. And here's a short clip of Candace Owens explaining, not explaining, making this insane claim that's not real.
Well, that's my question. Like, what's her evidence that the police didn't question him? But let's play the clip. Like, how would she know?
Charlie Kirk told it to her in a dream.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. Don't.
No, I don't want to jump
don't step on it yet.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Let's play it.
One, I think his roommate is a federal asset, Lance Twiggs. The person.
Why do you think that?
Because the police didn't even question him, which is bonkers.
Did she ever try to back that up with anything, or she just makes the statement?
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think a lot of what she says is based in reality.
No.
We have another clip of her. This is cut number 7, Justin.
Okay.
In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus.
I mean, who is Tyler Robinson? What was he doing there?
I don't
Do you
think Tyler Robinson was there.
You don't think he was there?
No. I think he's a total patsy.
Were you able to determine at what time or times Mr. Robinson visited the UVU campus on September 10th?
Yeah, we were able to establish that Mr. Robinson had been on campus approximately 4 times throughout the day, twice before the shooting, the time of the shooting, and then after the shooting later in the evening into the early hours of the 11th.
Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus.
So that was disproven.
Okay. Yeah.
But this is the evidence that Candace has that I believe is going to be impossible for anyone to disprove. This is cut number 8. Go ahead and roll it, Justin.
I rarely have vivid dreams. And I did, in fact, have a very vivid one over the weekend. And Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed. A dream that I had, a very vivid dream. This one was clear. Charlie told me that he was betrayed. He actually said more than that, actually. But we're fishing, right? So let's be patient.
You know, with that, Tyler Robinson walks.
Yeah, how's the defense going?
How do you defend against that?
How do you defend that? Like you can't see someone else's dream. That's locked.
Game over.
She just locked it down.
What's
Game
your
over.
source? I saw it in a dream.
I'm an oracle.
Wow.
She's also in the last day or so. So on his podcast, Ben Shapiro revealed that his security team was in contact with Charlie Kirk's security team immediately after the shooting. So now Candace Owens has decided that means that Ben Shapiro was somehow involved in this grand conspiracy.
In the conspiracy,
which
yeah.
isn't surprising considering I think she primarily blames Israel.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously Ben Shapiro is Jewish, so it all comes together.
She's tying it all together.
Yeah.
You wonder, is she such a greedy capitalist that she knows this is great for doing what she's doing to make money, or is she really just losing her mind?
I genuinely don't know. At first, I thought that this was just a ploy to generate attention for her podcast, because I think after she left Daily Wire, her fan base kind of like diminished a bit, and this was a way to get back into the spotlight. However, some of the stuff she says is
it's been
so
going on
bizarre.
for almost a year at this point. It's like 10 months.
It almost makes me think that it is some sort of mental illness.
Yeah, you know, what we're seeing here is the same thing we saw with Thomas Crooks after the Butler assassination attempt on Trump, where he got hit in the ear and then a few people got shot and one died. The same thing I heard from certain circles of MAGA, that, you know, Crooks was a patsy and none of it comes true. Listen, I'm not big on it. My first reaction of all that stuff, it's nonsense. But this nonsense seems to be going to a whole different level with Candace.
I'd like to believe that there were some genuinely naive listeners that kind of fell for Owen's nonsense. And now after seeing clips come out from this preliminary hearing, they'll come to their senses. But I kind of think the vast majority of her audience likes the weirdo conspiracy talk.
Yeah, there's a big
she'll
audience.
continue with it, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a big audience for it.
There's still people posting conspiracy theories that Charlie wasn't shot. They're trying to.
That was her other conspiracy, that it was an exploding microphone and it actually wasn't a bullet.
Yeah, it's just like they're
and he was kidnapped.
Posting slow-mo frame by frame footage of the assassination, trying to say, "Oh, that's not how bullets work. That's not how your clothing reacts to a bullet." What are we doing?
No, it's well, you know what? There's one man that can solve all this, and I think he's on hold. I want to welcome to the show Barry Sable. Barry, how are you, my friend?
Tom Azelby, I have to reconsider our friendship. You have me on hold to talk about Candace Owens?
Yes, because I wanted you to get all the data so you could comment and tell us what is going on with Candace. We want to know what's on your mind besides naked women. And I'm not talking about Candace Owens. So what do you got?
First of all, do you want hard or soft? Give me an answer, hard or soft?
Well, let's go with soft, Uncle Barry.
Okay, here's the story. I did a computation. Last Friday, you did the 3 to 6 show.
Correct.
Then you had your normal Saturday morning show. Then I had you on Sunday on my guest, as my guest on the show.
Yeah.
Then you did Tuesday 3 to 6, Thursday 3 to 6, and then you did 3 to 6 today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow all over again. I spoke to an attorney.
Yeah.
This legally constitutes a change of an address. I know you have a cot there. Do you want hard or soft pillows? There are no refunds.
You know what? I'll take the soft pillow.
There you go. And I know that you're well fed. There's a tasty cake rack there.
Oh, that's right. You showed me where the Tasty Cake rack was the other day. I'd never seen it before. Did you guys know about the Tasty Cake rack?
Oh, I love the Tasty Cake rack.
Of course they know.
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't know. Why did you wait? I've been here over a year and a half. You never showed me before.
Because you're a well-fit guy, and to be honest with you, we don't want to intrude on your diet. Now,
yeah, you didn't
let
want
me go over a few
Go ahead.
things.
Go ahead.
May I?
Yes, please.
May I take control as a radio talk show host to another?
Yeah, but
first of all, you asked the question.
I have the button though. We can
Yes,
drop
you do.
quick.
You can cancel me at any moment.
All right, go
Here's
ahead.
the deal. You guys aren't thinking straight over there. Call the guy in Texas, the Tellerico guy. He'll tell you there are 6 genders, 4 we don't know about to pick from. That's the story with who knows what, how, and when that guy is, what gender he is, who the heck knows.
All right.
More importantly,
yes.
Yesterday, I was on a pontoon, Hampton Josh. I want you to hear this.
Yeah.
Because I want you to go with me.
Okay.
And maybe the boys will go one day, too.
Okay.
Yesterday, we went flounder fishing in the bay. And on a pontoon, $95 a person. I get on the boat, guy says to me, I know who you are. I said, what are you talking about? You do the Sunday morning show. He listens, believe it or not, to 1210 WPHT and knew who Tom Azelby and the boys are as well. How do you like that?
That's pretty
in
impressive.
Atlantic City.
And did
Tom, listen.
Okay, please tell me.
60 fish, 6 guys. That's all this pontoon holds. We caught roughly 60 fish between us in the bay. This guy has his up and down for 4 hours. The tide was in low. Uncle Barry scored. The only one that scored with 2 keepers. How do you like that?
And what determined a keeper? The size?
Yeah, I think it's like 16 or 16 and a half inches, the size, yes. And there's so many small fish, but it was incredible. I don't know. The Lord above said, it's your time.
No, it's when you're out fishing and you start hitting, no matter what the size of the fish are, as long as they're hitting, that's a great day. And you were the only one. So you only had 2 keepers out of all those hits.
Yeah. How do you like that? Listen, I want to ask you guys, because I know when are you closing out today? 56, 57?
54.
We're closing out at
54.
Yeah, so I have to wrap up the show, but I want to congratulate you for being the only guy in the boat out of 60 fish to have the 2 keepers. And everybody, don't forget, Sunday, 10 to 11, Barry Sable's and friends.
my guest, Tom.
Dan Cuellar will be joining Barry Sable this Sunday, 10 to 11. Barry, we're going to wrap it up.
Thanks for taking the call, boys.
We'll see you, brother. All right. Well, Barry got a lot. Barry got a show in there in 3 minutes. He covered. He covered everything. Sexuality. We got it. All the fishing. Wow.
Uncle Barry packed, like a 3-hour show into like 6-7 minutes. It was impressive.
You never want to do that because then you have so much more of a show. If you got to be. He could have saved a lot of that, but he got it out. That's what he does. He's a broadcaster. He knows what he's doing, and he was the Diamond Authority. Back in the day, probably before you guys even were you familiar with all Barry's commercials? And
I knew the name Barry Sable, so I guess in some capacity.
Yeah. He was one of. I always say there was like George Perrier and Steven Starr, and there was Barry Sable. Like these were guys like they were the brands of Philadelphia. It was kind of a cool era back then.
When I think diamonds, I think Louis Cartier and Barry Sable. Those are the names that come to my mind.
Two that come up. Yeah, that was right after the Rendell kind of. I was living in Center City when Rendell came in. The city felt different at that time. It felt really good. It felt like it had that energy that things were going to get better, and they did. And Ed Rendell did a good job. And I remember a few years later, I read the book Prayer for the City. And it really, I thought and that's the guy that did Friday Night Lights, the author of that book. And I thought that guy captured, when you watch a movie or you read a book and you've kind of lived that experience, but then you see someone tell the story about it and they capture it, it's great. There's a movie with Matthew McConaughey. Where he's in with all the high school kids. Do you know that movie? Oh, come on. Help me here. A movie buff.
Oh, God.
What's the name of it? Anyway, he captures the 70s, what they were like. Even though they're in Texas, you could have been anywhere in America. And in that movie, he got a role, and he got it by accident by showing up at some restaurant in Austin. Dazed and Confused. That's it. That's a movie that captures an era, which I really enjoyed. What's our out, guys?
It was 5 seconds ago.
Oh, 5 seconds ago. That's it, everyone. Have a great weekend. Go watch Dazed and Confused. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 to 9 on the Tom Azelby Show.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow.